When you finish speaking, turn your mic off. Okay. All right. At this time, we'll move on to item number 3, roll call.
For roll, which is item number 3 on the agenda.
Aye.
Adeline,
Aye.
Frankie. Sharon. Here. Joyce here. Peggy.
Here.
Jamie.
Here.
Charles. Barry.
Good.
Jeff.
Here.
Okay, Chief, Council, we have quorum.
All right, thank you for that. Next item on the agenda is the chief address to the council. Certainly, we want to welcome each and every one of you here today. A couple of folks in the audience that I'm going to introduce. Mr. John Uzo, who is a candidate for City Council Ward District 3, I think, as well as Mr. Doug Dry, who is on the agenda as a candidate for the judge position. This time, we certainly welcome each and every one of you here. I'm going to go through my report now. As far as it goes, boy, where did December go? I mean, it flew past. Where did the whole year go, for that matter? We're still here. That's the positive about. On December 3rd, we had an election, and here we are today, this morning, with the inauguration. We say da da go to some former council members, Teresa Weber, Clifford Wofford, William Christie, Mary Duval, and we say welcome to Barry Dodson, Jeff Okochi, Sharon Noyd, and Jeannie. So welcome. Thank you all for your interest and your support in this tribal government. Throughout the month of December, it's been a fast and furious month with the major holiday in the way. Well, we didn't witness as much severe weather as we've had in the past. So there was one day that we had a closing in the afternoon. So be sure to look more of that coming down the future as far as January and February with severe weather and that sort of thing. Met with a lady by the name of Jacqueline Acadine Hensley. She's speech director for OSU Health Schools. She's looking for a candidate to go to school with the Oklahoma State University Medical Services and things of this nature. She came to our folks from our area. If you have anybody that's interested in medical services, please let them know that we have this available in the contact number, and they can go from there. December 18th, the assistant chief, myself, mayor of the corporate board, went to Enid, our gaming offer. Our gaming offer is on the table at that point in time. It was pretty much in my mind, it was a very good offer to gain their support for a gaming operator at Enid. What that consisted of was about $1 million over a year period. To go back to that, about $140,000 a month that we were already starting that we have given them had they taken the offer. There's a 4.5% sales on gaming goods of this nature. There was a survey that went down in Enid that 60% in Enid wanted us. Part of it was, well, it was a grand chose. So we were making plans and looking at what possibility available at this. Now, basically, that was for their support. That's all that was. So that's off the table. I think one person said that. Oh, I've had a few of the others come by and say thank you for something on the youth cards and things of that nature in Timber. Next time. The month of this month marks the 8th month since we went at this time from appeals court at this time. I know I've said this throughout, that some folks think that the pendulum is swinging towards us because we're taking an active look at this. This case is different than any other case. The magnitude at this time is somewhat that in the event a tribal government purchased land in another tribe's jurisdiction, can they put, that's not for me to decide at this time. So it's any guess as to when. One of the issues that we'll be talking about later, and hopefully we'll get to the executive session and talk about the federal government shut for gaming tribes that have the money, that it won't be quite as bad. For folks for non-gaming, item number 5 was the approval of the minutes for the month of December.
Joe, excuse me. I could not find the set of minutes in the packet. Therefore, I'm a motion to table.
Okay, a motion has been made to table. There's a second. He seconds it. So without. Yes, sir. We don't have the minutes for this past month was not prepared. I think the holiday, I think I think that sort of thing that experienced, the minutes weren't prepared. The motion to table those minutes until the next meeting and check that's what that was. Yes.
Before I just want to, and I appreciate Adeline's motion due to, I have them in the draft format, but I prepare for your packets. After the vision, I came back to work full Thursday. I do have them, so I was going to request to table them and then be in at next month's meeting. Okay, with that being said, we have a Jeannie. Okay. LMA? Yes. Adding?
Well,
Frankie? Shannon?
yeah. Sorry.
Jamie? Charles?
All right, thank you, Council. Next item on the agenda is the report to council. The report with Secretary Hall.
Guess that without putting you out because of this week, that we would just the report is
All right, thank you, Council. We'll move to the vote.
Okay, Council. Item number 6, reports to council. And number 4, we have a motion by Eddie and a second by Frank. And I will call for a vote. Eddie?
Yeah.
Jeannie?
Yes.
Ella May?
Yes.
Addie? Frankie?
Yes.
Sharon?
Yes.
I vote yes. Peggy? Jeff?
Yes.
Okay, Chief, council motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, Council. Next item on the agenda, whoops.
A submission Brian, of request is for a food pantry. So Kyle or Jennifer, council, will you allow them to do a because it's not on the agenda to do a presentation? Are you all in agreement? Go ahead.
We're going off the agenda.
So that's what I was saying, asking. It's about 5 minutes. They just need your, I guess, approval to submit. So that's it.
Councilors. Jennifer, myself, food pantry here, this camp for our tribal members. Those specifically fortunate, to extend that to the community as well. We have resources with up north where the 2018 PG grantee spotlighted. There's some information in your packet as well. Served new with the same group that I'm requesting from you today.
In bulk with the Tulsa Food Bank at a discount. We could also utilize some of our CSBG funds to purchase this food. We have a lot of members that come through that are
Fern and Kyle, I believe we're going to take a vote on your request.
Right quick though. Have you picked out a site to put this building on? I was looking at your, is this a picture of the thing you're to yeah. Okay. I just
We
looking
would-
through here.
We would hope that when the time comes, the council would to refer to the master plan where the distribution site was going to be.
one thing to address this particular grant. It is not necessarily a MAP grant
It says in on it, right?
in kind.
You will use the land or it says to match it with.
Yes. So I do make you aware that
So how much
Part
land
of
are we,
it.
how much land are you talking about? And well, you have to get an estimate of the value of the land and all that.
Minimum of 3 acres.
That's besides.
what we were looking at,
3 acres, would you use the value? Is that what you would take, get it appraised and use that value as, okay.
Eventually, can take it to our district.
Absolutely. And in part of the packet there, outline, you'll see the picture is for each district to have their own distribution site for food, clothing items, any necessities for our
Let's get it
underprivileged.
going.
Yeah, and also I would like to be, I know I spoke with you last week in regards to this, that be sure we put in the fine print. If it goes a bust, that you donate the land back to us, the land stays in with the tribe. We just want to be sure that we get that in there because what we're agreeing on is sign over 3 acres and to Human Services Department. I just want to be sure that it comes back.
No, I don't think we're agreeing to do that yet. I think we're just making a motion that Land Council Sachs is to approve to apply. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's, yeah.
normally stays with the tribe.
Yeah.
No, we're not assigning
Yeah.
to any of the tribe.
That's just what I'm stating though
Our
is,
land and it was. our land.
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I don't.
Part of this grant though is under this is that, yeah, exactly what I'm saying.
After digestion, yes. It's not a word that those the land awarded
We get the land back. Yeah.
the land if already awarded to have human services discretionary fund or that's not an option fund.
I the practice whenever they post. I was that did this. They got their food bulk, got it from different companies, and it was a good pro. Other just like refrigerators like that, we have to have for the. Yeah, I have so many to
Line
apply for this grant.
with the able to contact the UDA, get a finite deadline. Trustworthy, maybe Mark first is looking at the latest. So that's why we wanted to come to ask permission to pursue the grant up next month with request.
Have a little tidbit to have a little tidbit, a helpful thing. See program. That might be a helpful thing.
So we have just decided to start a
Mhm. What
brand
they do is every year they have attribution listing come out. Everybody looks at that listing and they see what cause they want to donate to, fund straight to that cause.
All right, thank you. We'll look at that.
Thank you for all the, and that's, so the question regarding this, just one kind, is per year or for the life of the three, one time? My curiosity is the hours that manpower would have to be utilized, watched, that can be in-kind services as well, correct?
Stages looking at this grant. One of the things that we've looked at, some volunteer hours, maybe through the high schools or colleges for scholarship funds, have access, it will be manned all the time, and we can count that as well.
All right, thank you.
I've also been in contact with the AARP and the NICOA, which is a senior employment program that 50 folder, and they will get paid to volunteer in things like this too. So they're supposed to be setting a date to the nutrient side and let the folks know, from, and they also Ada County, Sequoia. So so I will get with Sharon and Frankie and Peggy and those areas to set up a time to have them come down and speak to the folks in those areas too, for volunteer hours to get,
I would like to have information as the contact person of that also. Thank you.
All right, if there's no other discussion, we'll go to the vote.
Thank you.
Council, I will call for vote during the submission of it for food pantry. Eddie? Eddie?
Yeah.
Jeannie?
Yes.
May?
Yes.
Adeline? Frank?
Yes.
Sharon?
Yes.
I vote yes. Peggy?
Yes.
Jamie?
Yes.
Charles? Council motion carried.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Council, a couple of months ago, or maybe last month, we passed a resolution 18 UKB 102 there is a request for an amendment to that. I'm gonna read this to you, and after we come out, finishing business, it is a request to, just approve the amendment, and it reads, the Council of the United Kituah Band for the, there's a more in-depth outline to, just approve. Oklahoma approves the submission of a grant application. The Kituah Band in order to accomplish it for that at 24 CFR 1003.604. And 2, certifies that the tribe has proper policies and procedures for the financial internal control procedures for the procurement and contract management of the proposed project. Or contribute the land that is needed for the cost of 29,000. This amendment, she just got the information. New business, but if there's any questions now, we can allow, if you don't mind, if there's some questions pertaining to this. In council, if any.
We've already approved the initial resolution.
This is just
This
an
is
amendment.
just putting more meat into it.
Correct.
This is,
11,100.
An acre. So that would be 11.4.
And she will be the one, it'll come.
Oh, yes, and the administration fees, Tony, it won't gen fund, or it won't put a burden on the funds that you guys use.
Right.
So it's an in-kind contribution from the tribe side. I remember when we submitted this, it was supposed to be more detailed, but the grant we submitted as finite as possible. But there are going to be a few things that we get scored on that's missing, like the audit, the IDC is expired, those sorts of things. So just be thinking about that. But this is just basically more detail saying we're committing to this, and it's not to remove the land from under the tribe mission, as Mr. Sachs was saying earlier.
Thank you. As this is not a new business, I'm going to make a motion to approve this amendment.
I'll second it.
Well, don't.
all right, we already have a motion made and seconded.
I don't understand why, because this is only an amendment. It's not a new business.
Okay,
So why can't we finish it now, get it over with?
we'll have to stay with the agenda and go forward, you know? But
Again, we allowed to go off of the agenda
already,
already.
yes, thank you. We'll do that right now. Okay, here we go.
Thank you.
Yeah, the amendment to the resolution. Okay. Okay, council, call for your vote to the amendment to the resolution 18 UKB 102. Jamie. Motion was made by Adeline, second by Jamie. Eddie? Jeannie?
Yes.
Ella May?
Yes.
Wow.
Frankie?
Yes.
Sharon?
Yes.
I vote yes. Peggy? Jamie?
Yes.
Okay, Chief, council, motion carries. Thank you. Okay. Finish my enrollment plus the 2 items.
All right, thank you, council. Next up, on the agenda, have the financial report. Treasurer Wood.
Okay. CEO Nagata. All of you received a packet. It looks like this. It's got about 3 pages in it. And if you go out, the first lines of total revenue is what we bring in to the tribe. And here lately, it's looking really good, what we bring in December, but remember, almost always a month behind. So In December, we brought in $1,612.24. And then if you, our total expenses was $112,305 and 300, look over on the first page and cost revenue. So $8,625.97 would go into the revenues. And then also on the second page, if you look through rental reimbursement, $53.99. So that also goes, and it's up to, I think, $2.50 a square foot that we count the different programs we have. So that goes into total revenue. So we take that from the different programs. And by looking at this, it kind of sounds like it's not good, which it's not really good. But if you look back on the third page, last month, cash on hand, last month I reported 250,000 cash on hand. So I made at that point, I went and said, it's not very much. So we need to start doing something. So you look now, we're in the red, $39,283.43. And if you look at the bars there, there's a red, blue, I'll tell you the difference on how we're going down with. Now, when I say we're in a deficit or in red of $39,283, we still need that audit. So maybe the audit will be different. If you want, I've been down with my back all last week. So if you want to know the specifics, just email me or ask me later when I get a chance to find out. Say like salaries, you can see what that is on one, and then council stipends. So some of that IDC goes into the council stipends. So, and remember the just in fund, we're not talking about the programs and grants. Especially for the new council, then you could look at this and kind of study. And that's important.
All right. Motion to approve.
I was just going to say after our audit, maybe things will look better. So I'm hoping so anyway.
On sales, we're completely not receiving any at all now, nothing at all. Okay.
Is that right, Karen? We hadn't got any from cell tower?
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the next.
Yeah. That was a good load of our monies that would come in, but FCC kind of stopped that. So not kind of did.
How's that lawsuit going? Like as in questionable, like it might be a few months?
It's gonna be, early summer before we get a hearing. The last deposition just went in, will go in on the 9th. And that is the last petition that will be filed with this whole court process, with the appeal process. Once that comes in, which is coming from the A group, which represents our tribe and 24 other tribes, we'll get a hearing date, probably early summer, middle summer.
Gonna be a while. Okay.
I'm just going to say, watch our spending.
Okay. Any more questions regarding the finances? If not, at this time, I would like it shown on the right hand to accept the financial, the gen fund for December. At this time, please raise your right hand in acceptance. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Treasurer Worley. Corporate board report, Assistant Chief.
Thank you and welcome new counselors. I haven't had a chance to welcome everybody. And I guess former counselors, welcome back, Terry. I've had a very busy December and already a pretty busy January as it started out, but I put the reports there in front of you, and the chief already kind of talked about the Enid project, and I want to wait a little more on that when I get down to it there. But the corporate board met on the 28th, but they had a good meeting anyway. The business proposals were presented. Either Mr. Wilson is Data Video Systems. He's been in business a long time. He provides security. He's doing security right now on the border with all the stuff that's going on. Has federal contracts and he's been doing this for years, and he's kind of wanting to retire, I understand. So he presented a proposal to the corporate board, and so we're kind of looking into that. He wants to he'd like to sell it to the Googles. It's been a good business for him. It's had its ups and downs, obviously, during the change of administrations, but right now it's coming back up because of all the issues. But anyway, he's willing to stay on and train for a couple of years there through the transition period if we can make the deal. Mr. Kuhn, should you get one? I'm sorry. You hand her yours.
Corporate board.
Corporate board report. I thought I laid it
She
over
didn't
there.
get one.
Hand her yours there. Yeah, I got one too. She can follow along. You don't ever follow along anyway. You just listen to me.
Thank you.
No, I'm just, she said, she was at the meeting and I wasn't there, so bless her heart, she makes them. But anyway, David Kuhn came by, it says there for trying to wanted to do a long-term lease with a piece of our property, and we couldn't do that. He wanted to turn it into a resident or something in effect. And we told him we couldn't sell our property. We could lease it, but not for what he was looking for. So that didn't fly. Number 3 item there, there's a gentleman named Larry Bory that has was brought on to manage the KCI. Our former manager on to bigger and better things. So Mr. Glory has an extensive background in construction. He's been operating a successful commercial residential construction business as a contractor for probably the majority of his life. And he's been working in the last 15 years traveling. He's building a home in this area and he's moving back here. So he was looking for things locally, and he kind of fit our ticket right now, so to speak. We've got, because we're kind of in infancy with KCI, trying to get it up and get it going. And he's willing to come in and help us get that going off the ground with his expertise. And so it's a good fit. And so he was brought on, and I'm already proud of him. He's already bid, I think, 3 jobs and already awarded 1, and he's looking at some more. And he's already looking at leasing out our equipment. So he really hit the ground running and trying to bring some revenue. So I'm proud of him. On the 18th, this is one Chief talked about a while ago. We went out there and we was kind of treated rudely. I'm sad to say they gave actually more time to a lady with a dog at their councilman they did with us. And they didn't want any questions. It was kind of a cut and dry thing. But they voted 5-2 not to accept our agreements. That doesn't mean that they turned down our casino. Those 5 people obviously didn't want a casino, and they spoke for over 1% of the population in the city of Enid. And I have a gentleman call me that meeting before when we left that night. He called me and he said, I was in the meeting. He said, I just want to let you all know that don't be discouraged. I have it on my phone, and I want to save that recording because it may come in handy when we go back to the Secretary of Interior. And just to, inform you all a little bit of what's taking place in this project here. We've put a lot of time and effort in this, Chief, and all of us, certainly made. And there was a couple of people on that council that just don't like casinos. And no matter what we say or do, not going to change people's mind in the way they think. We know that. And so They voted not to accept our agreements. There was not one word, and I challenge anybody to go and look at that video and televise their meeting to see if he mentioned. I said, he said, "Oh, I kind of feel bad because, you know, the way they went." I said, "Don't feel bad. We're jumping up down like shortstops over here. You guys just turned down $12 million, saved tribe about $12 million, 25 years of taxes." And so he didn't know what to think about that. That's the way we see. There's so many people that have a viewpoint of the glass is half empty. I don't look at things that way. The glass is half full. The Catawba's out there. We got a company that wants to land, put in a casino. That's our former reservation. So don't get discouraged. Don't be negative. We are moving forward. Our Section 20, I told him, I said, in our negotiations, we can negotiate with you and let you know that we had already been to the Department of Interior with our agreement and everything. You guys, I said, are going down in history as a generous offer. Doesn't mean we can't put a casino there. So we're moving forward for your information. December the 28th, Bedford Technologies came to discuss the renovation and remodel of our former administration building over where the tag office was. We're looking to put in a brewery, a pub, a restaurant, and the Bet4 is getting a head start on the sports betting. It's going to take place in Oklahoma. And they have signed an agreement with us to do the renovation on that building and put up all the money to put that into a good business. And we got a craft beer brewing company that's going to come in, and we can do craft beer brewing, restaurant, pub right there. It's the greatest location in the Cherokee County. And then there'll be sports betting live there, Class 3 sports betting we can do with this company. They have all the stuff set up already. This is going to, I think they're going to vote on it in February. I believe it's what they said in February when the state is to allow sports betting in Oklahoma to take place. There's already a lot of tribes that's getting a head start on it in different states. It keep popping up every day. This company right here is an Oklahoma-based company. They're an Indian-owned operation company, and the gentleman that is leading the way on that is a Osage tribal member, good man, and we've been negotiating this contract for quite a while. And he's going to start bringing the funding to us to see, and then we'll be pursuing that. So hopefully we can turn that into a viable business. We've been working on that. That building is certainly in a good location, and we can turn some money in there through this venture here. And that's kind of the gist of that corporate board report. You have the financials there in front of you. And I haven't had time to go over. I got back last night on a trip, and I can't disclose that because we had an NDA. But I did put in there, I put out there in front of you, some information about a trip we took. And just got handed to me that the state attorney general, now this is something that happened a couple of years ago at our KCS clinic over there in Tulsa. We knew we had a forensics audit that took place, and we, the corporate board, discovered about $260,000, and that's when we went over to the authorities. So I just got word that during the break a while ago, the state attorney general, Mike Hunter, I've been prodding with a sharp stick because the Oklahoma taxpayers are victimized in this situation as well, not just us. Just handed to me that he has launched an investigation out of his office, and it's in full bore, I guess. So that's a news for us right there. So the Lord's shining down on it. So hopefully we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Now, also, I laid in front of you there, Oklahoma Tax Commission. I thought this was important. This is kind of off the corporate board, but it's tribal, and the new people need to be informed of some of this stuff. And I'm always glad to try to help and inform if I can. I wanted you to see this. This is the motor fuels dollars that are taking place there in the state of Oklahoma. This money is distributed every quarter, and this was the last quarter of this year. And the money is distributed based on population of how many people are with that tribe. Now, we know what our population, they show right here about 14,400. This is a real burr under my saddle, or an issue that I really have a problem with. Real problem with, right here within our state. This is money that comes from every gallon of gas sold. I just want to inform everybody. The tribes have a compact throughout the state. Now, I may not have everything just down exact, but I have the general idea of how this works. And then the state taxes commission distributes this out to all the tribes. It shows you right here what every tribe gets in the state based on population. And I've had this in front of the people in Washington, D.C. just to show them what the disparity is for the Kikatua band in Oklahoma. The Cherokee Nation claims to have 230,576 throughout the United States. Now, in this last quarter, October, they received $2,497,271 in a nickel off of gasoline sales based on that population. We have 14,000, we received $155,000. This is used for our education dollars, medicine, the elderly, trying to help the elderly right here, motor fuels money. And the federal law set up years ago, 30s, they set the standard. We didn't. They the one it up. They need to comply with it. We've always complied. We've always complied with everything the federal government laid out. Out of this 237,000 registered citizens, I personally know a bunch of them that have the blood quantum that we have. I personally know them. So that's why I have a problem with it. I don't care how much money CNO has and everything. I'm talking about the tax dollar, federal dollar. The people out here that has businesses, I've had a business for years. When you go out here and build houses and spend $200,000-300,000 a year here, that could use this money a whole lot more where it's going. So I'm a little frustrated. And every time, I just wanted you all to see this, so you know, every time you go to a gas pump and put gas in your vehicle, where all that money, the tax dollars going. That concludes my report. Sorry for being so I'm happy about this, what the AG is doing, and I've got some really good news that pertains to something on our agenda, and I can't disclose that right now, but I will later. Any questions?
Are you not going to disclose the report here on the
financial report?
Yeah.
I give that to you there. And
yeah, but are you not going to disclose it to the public?
yeah, they can.
What-
It's 45,000 in the red right now. So, and I want to say something too while we're talking about this. I'm glad you brought that up, Jeff. You just reminded me of something. We all taken a confidentiality oath. We've taken a confidentiality oath. You all taken the same one I did. There's been some things out here that's been my attention putting out on Facebook. I'm not a big Facebook person. I don't know anything about it. I'm not very tech savvy, so I apologize for that. But there's been some stuff putting out there, some confidential information that's came from our accounting department or had to come somewhere. And so I just want to say, be careful. Don't violate your oath. That's all I want to say. And the corporate board report right now shows there's $45,000 upside down for this month. It's got a layout here. I'm not an accountant. I'm not a CPA. But for you new people or anybody that wants to, I urge you to go in and talk to our bookkeeper. She's very, very meticulous. She watched that money like an old hen watch. Start stumbling and, we've got, I'll just give you, did this, didn't happen. I've been, you don't take money from people and then not perform. Just the way it is. Oh, thank you for that, Chief.
All right, thank you. We have a public forum at this time. Note, person wishing to speak during the forum will have and wish to discuss his or her topic.
Okay, item number 7 on the agenda forum, we have and Tidwell. Her topic is that.
Okay, government shut down, assigned the bill, and now it has been amended. It's been to for quantum, so that any of the blood quantum can now, I guess, hold or restricted land. So I think that kind of puts us at a disadvantage because of our numbers. And I was hoping that our AG would be here today, so he could give us that.
That's a good point. I'll give you a minute or two here. PG is having a funeral today, so keep him in your prayers. His brother was drowned, and they're having his memorial service today, so that's why he wasn't here. So keep him in his family in prayers in this time of need.
But I just think that's bringing a lot of problems to us. We are outnumbered as far as numbers go, and I'm sure that they're working on it right now as we speak. And we don't have the resources to go after that right now. Or our tribal member, as I understand, is down to one person. We really need some experts in there to tribal members on what we need to do. So that's about all. Thank you.
Thank you, Joanne. Next is Jennifer Robinson. Her topic is
Thank you for giving me a few minutes to address some concern. I have cameras being installed in our buildings at this point. On the 27th, I returned from vacation to find that cameras was being installed inside the Human Services Department, which I had sent an email asking that we reconsider that due to privacy and confidentiality of my clients that come through there. Human Services not only has that we need to protect their privacy and their confidentiality. On the 27th, an email came through and it was suggested that we're meeting to address the concerns of several directors that have concerns about being installed. We haven't had that meeting yet. I can speak for a couple of directors who's also addressed concerns about these cameras. And we would like to have our concerns addressed prior to the installation of these cameras so that hopefully we could come to some sort of agreement, maybe prevent more costs from the tribe if we choose to remove the cameras from those.
Thank you, Jennifer. Next, we have Charles Deason. His topic is housing. Is Charles? Okay.
Good morning, or good afternoon, I'm sorry. Usually in 10 o'clock meetings.
He just got up.
I don't know, I'm here as the Assistant Housing Director. Public Forum is the only place I could get in. So just want to let the council know that the Housing Department is suffering from the government shutdown. And I have notes here that I'm going to read. There's over $2 million in an ELOC that we can draw money from, but it's currently in a restricted status with HUD. That means that we can do a drawdown to submit all the documentation for every drawdown that we do, and someone at HUD must physically approve that drawdown. The reason we're in a restricted status is because a lack of an audit. HUD has dinged us. So they said, we got to watch what you're doing because the tribe hasn't provided an audit. So when we do a drawdown, there has to be somebody there to physically approve so we can do this. But we have over $2 million it's sitting there. We can draw down. We can do whatever we need to do with it, pay all of our bills, provide services for our tribal members. With that being said, Nancy and I have met with our department, our staff, and we informed them of the situation that we're in. And we've had to notify our staff that starting Monday, January 7th, 2019, they're going to be on furlough because we're not able to do drones. The accounting department has indicated with Nancy that there's enough money to pay the staff for this payroll upcoming. But beyond that, it's completely and totally uncertain. The housing department has 12, we have 12 members in our staff. It's counting full-time employees, consultants, and so forth. That makes up 15% of they're supposed to. I don't know about you guys, but I'm upset with this.
Me too.
I have bills to pay. I have staff that work for me. They've got bills to pay. They've got families to pay. They don't have to worry about this. This shouldn't be their worries. This council took an oath to look out for the betterment of this tribe. And I feel like it has not been done.
Yes, I agree with you.
This audit called for, I've been here, audit was supposed to be done in June, July. Then the end of the fiscal year audit was supposed to be done. We got an extension to November. It's been extended again to January 31st. I don't know where we're at with the audit. I don't have a clue. If it's not done January 1st, there's a real good possibility that housing could lose its funding. And you brought up a while ago, indirect cost. Do any of you guys really know how much indirect cost housing provides to this tribe? Indirect cost rates are somewhere around 17%. That's a rough guess. We bring in $2.5 million a year to the tribe, $450,000 funding to indirect cost. Can the tribe operate without $450,000 from indirect cost housing? No. I don't know what needs to be done. What was done yesterday was done. What's done today, we can change. Tomorrow we can change. I don't know who's responsible. I don't know who's been delegated the responsibility of being in charge of the audit, but I really, really would like to see it done. Somebody needs to be appointed, directed, authorized to make sure that it's done. I know we have comptrollers, we have accountants, where they're at. Maybe in the process, it may be almost done, but it's not done today. I know that. And come Monday, I've got 11 people that's going to come to work and not know whether they're going to get paid in 2 weeks. Whatever.
I have one question. What was the first deadline?
The end of the year deadline would have been October 31st. But I think the audit was called for back in June or July. And then there was a change. Was there a change in the audit firm? And then there was some risk of responsibilities for personnel within the new auditors. I'm just kind of going off of what I've heard, bits and pieces.
Correct.
There was a new audit firm that was voted on because others were charging us too much. So we got this one a little bit cheaper, knowing how our finances are. But this, well, how to say this without saying anything bad. But the girls did the audit. The accounting girls and the audit firm are working together. The audit firm said, give us these things, and the girls didn't give it to them. That kept delaying and delaying.
So who's to blame? Basically, is it our finances, like as the accounting? Our accounting? Katua accounting? Who is in accounting?
I'll leave that for you guys to discuss. I'm not pointing fingers. I'm not blaming anybody. I just like to have it fixed.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying
People
too.
that's going to go possibly without getting paid. And I'm very proud of them. Everybody says they'll be here Monday morning to report for work. Just like this.
Willing to work, but what are they going to use for gas?
But anyway, thank you.
Charles, you're not done. I got one question. There was this man who was a real estate developer. He was going to build this wall. And without the money to build the wall, he's holding up the entire federal government. How much is on that money?
None of it.
Then none of that money, the federal government, how much, your money, federal money?
Right, but it's in an account
They
for
can't-
us. It's
They
in,
can't release it.
yes, they can. We locked.
They're not
We-
released.
They have the ability, it's already in our bank account. $2+ million sitting in a bank account has been approved. Our IHP has been approved. It's there
Then why you,
because we didn't complete the audit, put on restricted status, meaning someone has to approve our drawdowns.
how much that money goes in the circle to establish an audit?
$450,000.
Not the number, I mean, but we can circle that money back around.
From gen fund to pay employees.
No, to the audit that you're.
I'm not sure I follow you.
Basically, what you're saying is the money is there, but we can't touch it
Right,
because we're on probation.
we're on probation, basically, yeah.
Because we finished the audit in time.
We can't use the money to pay for the audit.
Right.
So why can't we come up with the money to pay for the audit?
Why would we use that money for the audit, Eddie?
It's
It's requested, he's saying that.
but it's the tribal audit, it's the housing audit. It's not a housing audit, it's a tribal audit.
Saying.
Okay.
What
Okay.
I had proposed at one point in time was the $2,500 a month that I'm getting for council. I would be willing to put that money back into the general fund to pay for an audit. And I can't do it myself, but that was what I had suggested.
That's a good, I appreciate that, Esther, but that's not what we're discussing. We're not discussing paying for the audit. We're discussing that the housing department was put on probation because our annual audit has been late. We've been late years in a row. All the paperwork is supposed to be put together by June the 30th and then submitted and be approved by October the 1st or September 30th. And that's when the new fiscal year starts. So our 2017 audit has not been completed. And there's a lot of things. It's not being able to pay for it. It's got, you understand what I'm saying? That's not the part of it. It's that some of all of the stuff that the requests, somebody that the auditing company is asking for from our tribe. There's been, if you go back and look at August or September, when we were down there in September at your place in Bayonne, September, August meeting or September meeting, we still hadn't presented all the trial balances at that time. I called the auditing committee the day before and found out what the status was, and they were awaiting trial balances from our accounting department.
Was that because of accounting?
Well, it basically is, I guess. I mean,
So our
they're requesting information to complete the audit and they're not receiving it. That's basically what is the whole.
Wow.
So our accounting department was tasked to turn this information in. It was never.
Look into accounting.
Before you do that, make sure you're aware of all the elements that goes into this. It's not so much, yes, we
I
do
realize
have, we
that.
do have sanctions against us, okay? The sanction is that every request that they submit,
Mhm.
they have to verify purchase request, all the documentation behind it before they get the approval for the money to come back.
Well, what I realized is,
Additionally, the shutdown itself, there's nobody on that side to push the money back. That's the bottom line.
I know we have a
We are
problem.
behind, yeah.
But in the sense, if we're not in the restricted status,
That's right.
the money is in the ELOCs, you just get a drawdown.
You're missing
And the
the
fact that
point.
they're in restriction
There's
is
somebody on that
because
side
the
that
county
has to
didn't get
push
the
it. This is
information
not
to do
automatic.
it. Been to that point.
Right.
They already had, accounting already got the audit done back in when they were supposed to.
That's-
They wouldn't have gotten to this point right here.
Before we start pointing,
Thank you, council.
thank you, yes, before we start pointing, yes, we count the switch. The auditors didn't start the audit until this past October.
No, there's documentation where they were notified. They were, there, it is set past due.
Right.
Wait. Joe, and now. We can't keep today.
Show me the 100 times I've been notified.
We have asked the accounting department over and over to do their job. If I was failing, someone had a job and I didn't do what my boss told me to do, no more excuses.
I want to read.
No more.
I've inquired about our audit, and I have I guess, total power to Ide Bailey, but I've asked questions, emails. Here, I received this this is December the 4th, 2018, bank conciliation. This is from auditing company. We had it on 4 papers because it wouldn't print on one. From the audit department, what is this account? They've got codes over here, and I'm not going to read the codes because they're on TV, but they've got codes over here for. It says, what is this account? We do not have bank reconciliation, nor is it on the trial balance. And it asks a question, fund, I'm not going to give that code, and reconciliation for tax. I see this account listed on the trial balance. Could you bear? And I'm not close to the public because it probably get on Facebook again. But this is no federal account. One thing that I did learn from them is you can lie about the numbers, but the numbers don't lie. And so these people are very professional, one of the top accounting firms, auditing fees in the United States. They're asking for information and not getting it. So I don't know what the problem is. I really don't ever go to the accounting office and try to inquire about things because it's kind of like Chinese arithmetic, the way this codes and stuff is to me. But I do know that if we've got people hired to be doing things and they're incompetent, if they were working for my company, I'd find somebody and get it done.
We have anybody that's qualified in there in the first place when we got all kinds of Cherokee Indians that out there. I don't know how many of them qualified to do out here, but this thing's been going on forever. I've been going for 2 years and I come back and it's the same old baloney all over again. It's time to do something, people.
I would just like to say that Jamie's saying that he's saying if he had employees that was working for him, they are working for the people. So, I mean,
Apparently they are not competent to do the job.
There's something wrong.
Something wrong.
We need to
The
get,
problem is
get investigated
I'm
and
a
get it
firm
stopped.
believer that when you
It's been
find a
long enough.
problem, you
2
try to
years.
find a solution.
2 years.
All right.
Gotta get it done.
Good point. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
There's no investigation needed. It's all black and white. They have been incompetent.
Well, like I said.
Let's do something today.
Yeah.
Council, it's time to do it.
What are you propose doing?
Well, I would say that we have a comptroller in place now. I would like for her to get in there and get it done. She's gonna have to dig it up herself, I guess, unless we can get somebody to help her, but we've got a comptroller in place. And so I'm gonna make a motion to discharge these people because they have hurt the tribe.
Oh.
It is.
I second.
Before you do that, how long ago was the comptroller brought on board? 2 months ago? Part-time?
And on the same, okay, Joe, how long has those girls been there to do that job and they haven't done it?
The comptroller is supposed to take charge. She's only been there 3 times.
But we have asked the bookkeepers to do it or accounting girls to do it over and over and over. And they're saying that they're qualified to do it and they get paid the job. Look what they've gotten our tribe into. So I guess if our other employees are on flow, maybe they need to go on furlough.
Be careful. Be careful what you look at. That may go tribal wide. Exactly. That's a
We got a motion and a second and we vote on it.
keep this in mind. If you take this out in the middle of the street now, it's gonna be double hurt on the backside of it. Let's
Sorry.
get through this problem and go forward.
You can hire as easy as you can fire.
Okay.
If we remove them, so we could bring in somebody that was like an accounting firm or something that could come in and do.
They
Okay.
have somebody in place
Okay.
to do it.
Okay.
I believe we're gonna get it done, right? All right, well, then let's vote. Because we have lost enough.
All the housing services have been stopped. We have to stop all our contractors. Every job that we're currently doing has stopped.
Had to stop everything there too. There too. Because our audits has not been done.
The audits are being worked on as we speak. I do, you're gonna throw it into another
You have been
tailspin.
saying that a
It will
year,
be-
Joe.
No, I've been
Yes,
saying
you
that
have.
today. I've been saying that today, and you're misunderstanding altogether. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you truly want to do this, we're gonna tell you, this is gonna throw the audit into we'll be starting all over again.
Adeline, clarify what we're voting on, basically. We're getting rid of the accountants, is that correct? Okay, and we're controller, control, okay.
And I believe she's got enough people help to keep it
Okay.
done.
That's so my constituents out there can understand what we're voting on.
May I address a concern from the Human Services Department if we do immediate firing?
Fast.
That will cut into our ability to cut checks for as well, the people that we help.
Controller can do that.
I just want to make sure that there is a backup plan and people are aware that we do have emergency checks that cut out. So as long as plan in place, we just need to make sure that what our services aren't
She's our treasurer, she can do that.
discontinued.
It's their job.
I also want to add to, if this motion flies with us today, that we change the locks on the doors immediately.
Okay, again, what I understand what he's talking about, but we need to think about, just like Jennifer said, there's a lot of things that are going on a daily basis through that accounting department. Well, just a minute. Now, if we know for a fact that we have people that come in and do, the comptroller and her department or whoever she has that come in and do what needs to be done on a daily basis, week basis or whatever, then say we need to do this, because we talked about this for a long time. We've been throwing this single audit around since how long? And we should have already had it done. It should have already been done. If they didn't know how to, should have said, we need some help here. We need somebody to come up here and show us how to do this. So now we've had to do drastic measures now. So if you're saying that that they have control over this, comptroller can do this, then
The comptroller,
Got here is for two major programs. We've selected a number of items for detail. You let us know when we can expect those so we can try coordinating the timing of staff. Please let us know if your expectation was for us to come on night to do this test work, or we're not certain. There's been communication from our accounting department with this auditing firm.
let's bring those folks on side. Let's let them pull the records. They're asking for each and every record for the entire year of 2017. That takes time.
And why didn't they have already? They've been there, many, many years? They should have already had it. Right. Yeah.
That's not the point. The
Mhm.
point is pulling the
How can it
physical
not be?
evidence,
If they
period.
are employed, they should know what they're doing. They told us
You know,
that.
really, this truly sounds like a conspiracy, actually, because you've got somebody in waiting.
Uh,
You've got to remove what you've got going right now, and you're going to put somebody else in that
Yes,
you've
sir,
already
because it's
appointed.
damaging.
Think about what happened here. 6 months ago, half a year ago, we
This
voted
is
to
what we've had
remove
to
this
be
vendor.
gone through all year. Every time we
The
brought it
vendor
up.
that's provided 12
This is
years
what we-
service of positive audits. Positive audits, 12 years. And we
Motion
removed
is
him.
to
We
vote on
brought
this,
in
yes,
another
or
term.
do we have a motion and a second to vote?
Yes, we do.
All right, let's do it.
I just
let's
wanted to
vote.
stress my point, okay? Thank you for
Let's
that.
vote.
Okay, let me say something too. It's not just one thing, it's a lot of that over there on that budget. We haven't passed a new one. We don't know where we are, so we can pass a new one. And when we passed that one about it, we gave lots of money, right? We gave Della lots of money for education, not Della, for her education. Now she's got some people that need help, her kids or and there's some people that need help, her kids or those are telling her, you don't have any. That was, I don't remember, $100,000. Oh, so now telling her she doesn't have any. Those are the different things that I'm thinking about also.
They decide how.
Also,
they
let me
can or
tell you
can't.
now, I forgot to tell you something. Where is Jennifer? Her $8 wasn't lost. She found where it was. They told Raven she had so much, and she would call the company at ICW, and they said, no, you have more than that. They didn't give you those monies. They told you didn't have any monies.
Well, I want to say something on behalf.
The truth needs to be known, what's going on.
We have been asking for all these records, and it's always an excuse. You know, there should be no excuse. It needs to be taken care of.
If you recall, we gave the authority to the directors to pull up those records 5 or 6 months ago. I can't help it if those directors can't pull it up themselves.
Now, I do agree, we do have access to the accounting system, but while we can pull down only what is input in the system, that is not up to date real-time input. The problem we have is only are able to access what we are given permission to look at, and at this time, that is not there.
Yes, it is a read only, and when we read only, and when we go into the system to pull things up, it's a blank screen, what it is. It's totally blank. There's nothing in there.
Just as we haven't asked, you haven't told us that either. You haven't told us that either. We'll go from
Yes, we
that.
have. Yes, we have.
Before we go even further, let more comment, and we're going to, one more comment, and we're going to vote.
Mhm. Joe,
Okay.
we're going to vote now.
I'm going to make one comment. You've had that opportunity. You mentioned that, where did money go? If you'll ask the treasurer to pull up the 2017 and 2018, I bet you we spent, the people that spent were.
And you're right, it isn't, but they take it without telling us. They put it in something else.
They couldn't do that.
And what
They
is
do.
irrelevant. It is irrelevant, Joe. Vote now.
You know, for these folks, in the past, you've said, we can't talk about this because they're not to defend.
Okay, the motion by Adeline, second by Barry, correct? No. Oh, Jeannie. And it is to approve to discharge accounting staff And I believe there was added language as to change.
Also, to get with IT and out of the computer systems if this is approved. To get with IT passwords and get them out of the system immediately.
And if they're over there now, they delete. Is that what you said?
House building, my building is, locks are different from anybody else's, so the key for our building.
They access computers from their homes? That's
Okay, to approve, I'm going to reread to make sure I have it correct. To approve to discharge accounting staff and to change the and remove from the system, to computer system, I guess is that?
Yeah.
Was that, okay. Okay, that will be noted as other business. And I will call for vote. Eddie? Jeannie?
Yes.
Ella May? Adeline? Frankie?
Yes.
Sharon?
Yes.
Joyce? No. Peggy?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
Charles? Barry? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Under no. 1, 2, 3. Motion carries.
All right, thank you, council. Next item on the agenda. Next person.
Okay, I believe, okay, it is Travis Wolf, it's called administration.
Together at one time, so I wanted to make an offer and to make a. The offer is, my title is Executive Assistant to the Chief, but my offer is to have a better open relationship with the council so that there's a relationship on the tribal business level and the tribal government level. I would become a point of contact so that there's better communication between the business and the government. Does that make sense? And things like that are extremely higher and everything. Like I out when you come to these meetings, you already have it clear. What?
If you're going to be a point of contact, make sure you have everybody's correct emails. I'm
Yes.
not told until
Yeah.
the day of.
Now, that's another internal issue. That's the way we do this. But me being the point of contact, I've already kind of done this anyways. Do it with me and we can input you into the system so that these things will not happen again. So, any other questions?
100 problems that I have already found, and today is my first day,
Yeah.
basically. But I would like to see the council meeting more often than once a month. In problems, and it seems that way right now. I believe there's a solution for every problem if it's hard enough. And I've been a nurse for 40 years, and everybody knows that. It's not about me. It's about people I represent, the constituents that can't speak up for themselves. And I really would like to see out of, and the rest of the world, when they look at us one day, they're going to say, I wish I had joined the Katua tribe. And that's what I look forward to. But I'm a positive thinker. And in regards to that, I really
Do that, being as you were talking about us having our little, maybe like a little session before we get our packet at least, 5 to 7 days in advance so that it's not just thrown.
Actually, that would be really easy to do because since every first Saturday.
Mhm.
That means it would have to be shifted to, they would be done, the directors, their reports would have to be due every fourth Monday. And so if they're, or I guess every fourth Friday, yeah. And then the fourth Monday, you would receive the packets and have a week to do that.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, the next one is Daniel McCarty. And he doesn't have a, he just has a question mark.
Good afternoon, council. I'm really heartened by some of the comments that I made today. Participating over the webcast on YouTube for these different council meetings each month. And, it's really wonderful to see that so many folks are taking a different direction. I think last year was when we first started talking about audits. Some of the folks came up and said, hey, here we are, we're facing some of those. So it's really great that there's some change, some positive activity.
Thank you.
Things that Travis brought up, a bit more informed, obviously helpful. Probably a little bit difficult if you just get them before your meeting, probably impossible. The decisions you folks make, far reaching to more than just you. Yet you're here a week would be good, but realistically, you probably need more time than that. I think being in to digest information and really process, hey, what are the impacts? There was a lot of discussion in the last. If we make this vote today, what are the impacts? Yeah, you're right. There are impacts, positive and negative, to every decision. And I think history kind of tells it whether it is or not. Just look at the different broadcasts, same discussions, same points, same outcome. We're still here. That's the definition of sanity. Repeating an event, expecting a different outcome. Today shows me there's a different outcome. There's choices made. So I just really challenge all of you to maybe take a second look, maybe some of the decision making.
Okay, next one is Ernestine Berry.
Frankie and I go way back. The exhibit will be opening March the 30th at the museum. It's an exhibit that culminates the activity that we have had over the past 2 years, translating syllabary documents into English. And as you know, on the council do not read the syllabary. I know Adeline does, and I think maybe she and Peggy, maybe they're the only ones that do. So there were lots of documents that we know that were out in universities, libraries, and different places, archives, that were our documents. And so I got a grant from my MLS to go out and seek a lot of those documents and bring them in. I had a group, I'd like to invite y'all at that time, everybody to participate. In the past, we have had a lot you to come. That's about all I have to say about it. I'm going to submit a grant to H, which is Humanities, National Endowment for the Humanities, and it will be a small grant. I would like to invite. At that time, we'll have a reception at 6 o'clock. And that's about all I have to say about it. I'm going to submit a grant to H, which is Humanities, National Endowment for the Humanities, and it will be a small grant. I've never had one. I'm in very well with that. The next grant was bigger, and I planned a grant bigger, but I was prevented from submitting that one this past year, but in each, I'm starting out with a small grant, will be like 1,000, but we'll be doing disaster remediation, like if there happened to be a tornado, have all supplies and provisions and have the know-how in place to come in at that time and help us with remediation for our museum. As you know, we have a lot of documents there, and many of those are more than 100 years old. And so those are documents that not at the museum are the documents that cannot be replaced. Business type of valued documents that are priceless and will continue to go. And so I don't have to have a resolution for the NEH grant, but I would like to let you all know that I will be submitting that grant. I would like to just have your, if you could just raise your hand or whatever, that you approve for me to submit that grant. I need a resolution, but they do. I personally would like to let you all know what's going on with the museum, and I'd like to have your approval and your help at times. So that's where we want to be. Okay,
Thank you, and I give you my approval.
Thank you very much.
Ernest, I got a question.
Yeah.
There were some records and old documents that you were telling me about in Kansas and some facility there. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Have you ever been able to get those?
I did get some of them.
But you didn't get all of them.
I didn't get all of them, no.
Would you like to have all of them?
Yes, of course.
If you can
I
get me
have a
the-
listing of those.
If you can give me the contact information and the place where it is, I'll see if I can't start a
Okay, okay.
mission on that.
It's, the reason that I can't get them is because it's at Lenexa, Kansas, which is an underground facility, and the public does not have access to that. And, you know, all of our document Fort Worth, Texas archive was sent to Lenexa. And I think it was due to Cherokee. They don't want anybody to know who we are, what we are, and that we're legitimate. So they had the Muskogee office, which they control and have controlled for years. They had Muskogee office have Fort Worth send up all the Katuah documents, nobody else. And they were at the Muskogee office, and from there they sent it to Lenexa. I found that out by calling Texas and by calling the Muskogee office.
Would the
And so-
BIA give permission for those documents, or who would give permission for those documents?
But they charge you $60
If he said there wasn't
an
no charge
hour.
on it? Well, what if he said there wasn't no charge? There are records, aren't
Okay, if we can get them with charge, sure, that'd be
they?
great.
There are records, aren't they?
Yes, yes.
I don't know why they charge us for our records. We won't put that on our list.
Well, charged me $2,000 when I got ones I have. And I got a statement for it. And then I wrote to the national office and asked for a waiver, which I was able to get. So I didn't have to pay for those. Except for $250 they demanded up front.
I just have a.
Thank you,
I think,
council.
How much did you say that grant was for?
The one I will be
The
submitting.
NEH, yeah.
10,000.
Okay, and I want to say this, I did take part in the translation that she's talking about for this exhibit. You all need to really go check this out. These are old documents, and the way that they're written, the syllabary, the way that it's written, it's from people that wrote these a long time ago, and they're hard to really translate. So I commend these ladies that have done this, that have gotten all these and
Time I had to get an extension on my grant because we didn't have everything done. And so Clara Proctor, Pritchett, and Foreman were the three people who did most of the work. So if you know them, give them an attaboy. Thanks.
Yeah, I just want to add something to what she's saying. Mary and I went to the archives and were requesting tours. And we were told is around the same time she's talking about. They did that around 1950s, from what I understand, but it is a vast amount of documentation.
I just want to bring up what we discussed earlier about accounting. I would caution the council to not discuss personnel matters in public. I former human resource director, I just got to be careful about that. But anyway, my topic is actually about committees, and I discussed this last month. I recommended that we start committees to address the 101 problems we've discovered here. And you won't even have to have extra meetings, we'd just have committees doing all that stuff. But first, I want to bring up what we pass at council, of course, is law. And over the past 14 years, laws have been passed by this council necessarily, which should never have been passed. And there's, for example, we allowed the former chief to be one of only two, Chief Bunch as well. He should be supervised. The former administration that allowed checks to be issued ahead. And I have a problem with that because some people don't show up for the council. No value except hurt someone, and it didn't improve the general welfare of the tribe. At this public forum, without any investigation or knowledge of what really happened. And then that I passed out to the new council, you're not new, Barry, so I didn't give you one. I passed out a resolution that restricts the corporate board from holding more than one position. If you look at it, it really doesn't explain anything. And you already have committees like the enrollment committee, then you have other things like boards, you have the board at that. I know I had some people tell me that people were issued elder checks that are dual enrolled. I've had a couple. So we need to be vigilant on who gets these checks, not just corporate board. I would ask that someone in this council take the lead on form solutions committee. And this would prevent any personal attacks or things being brought up here at the council forever and ever. And unnecessary laws being adopted that would be reviewed. And anybody want to lead on that? I would, I wouldn't mind serving on that myself if, investigation.
What's your title now?
I'm the secretary of the corporate board.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, next one we have is Charlie Whaler. And his, her topic was committees and boards that wasn't announced. And Charlie Whaler, his topic is law tribal.
I worked for the Bureau of Affairs at Indian Policeman. I studied law since the 70s. And one of corporate amendments is that the corporate board hold the elections, not the incumbents. The council cannot set up a corporate, not mess with the corporate board. It's something like a House of Representatives and Congress, and while this council is like the Senate, they make the final decision. But okay, what I wanted to read was that see, I'll start with the pet law book. It's Chapter 1876, an act to provide for the final disposition of the affairs of the 5 civilized tribes in the Indian Territory and for others. And be it enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America and Congress assembled, that after approval of this act, no provided prior to December 1st, 1905, the records and of Commissioner of Civilized Tribes shall be conclusive evidence as to the fact of such application. 1906. So the 5 civilized tribes of 1906, just like any other, but the Katu had gone to federal court because they found out that the Cherokee Nation was in their government. They went to federal court and received a charter of incorporation. That charter is our treaty rights. We have all powers, or to control Cherokee tribe, and anyone using the Cherokee name is subordinate to our. Before, no one did. Thank you. There's no motion to reopen or reconsider any citizenship case in any of steps. But we had changed our name in 1958 and Katu and had a new constitution as our first written constitution. And Morris Thompson in 1975 recognized Cherokee Nation of Oklahoma. He failed to investigate that Cherokee Nation was a subordinate of the April 1906. The 1949, excuse me, 1st of May 1940, the Bureau of Indian Affairs gave Chief Pickup trusteeship over Cherokee Nation assets. All Cherokee Nation members are therefore subordinate to us. Their chief has to answer to us. Can file court monies or injuries and receive everything that Cherokee Nation right now has given out to directors or something like 1949. BIA made us trusteeship over Cherokee Nation assets, and assets also mean the members or assets. So Cherokee Nation is under us. Law says that. Congress passed that act, giving us all that members, all that power. Assistant Secretary of the Interior reminded us that we had all the powers of the Cherokee treaties. And the charter we have is protected because we have a separate group that protects and is head of the electorate, not the council, the CAB board. CAB board is one that handles the election, not the council. The council are incumbents and are not allowed to handle elections. Okay. Here's one too. Chad Smith was a member of the Katuas, but because of its violation of Katua law, he was disbanded from the tribe, from the whole Cherokee tribe, because that was our powers. Anybody that's a member of Cherokee Nation of Oklahoma does not have authority over the Katuas. And even the Bureau of Indian Affairs agreed that this letter that was sent to the BIA and asked us, Cherokee Nation cannot be recognized. And then UKB is federally recognized tribe, and it's small print. I have to use a magnifying glass.
Okay. Charlie, you're gonna have to take this in a hurry. Some more folks that are waiting for public forum.
Okay. Last one, that, the Courageous Act. It's still being used against us, which is, what's the word?
Charlie, if you would, leave your information with the secretary, get that to the Attorney General at this time, okay?
I have to be with her, and I'll bring it back.
All right.
And
All right, thank you.
I want it to district.
I
I'd
understand.
like to say how I appreciate you pointing this stuff out because it's terms of us were and
Okay, next we have Barry. Mr. Barry, you're on public forum.
I appreciate it. Let me get up and say my piece. I don't want to write himself. Constitution by law. Preside at all meetings, council meetings only in the case of a tie. I'm gonna go to, one, the supreme governing body of men shall be the council of the United Constitution of Cherokee Indians in Oklahoma. When it says supreme, we're talking about the highest in authority or power. Everybody understand that? It's not the chief. It's the council. Bear with me, I'll get around here sooner or later. On page 6 for me, man.
Page 6.
Yeah, having trouble operating my finger. At any other place with old Cherokee name may be delegated from time to time by the council. I don't know who's been making the decision in the outlying district. I have no problem with doing that, but it don't need to be every month. I have one more thing here I'd like to talk about. This is the corporate charter we're talking about. It's page 2, article 3. It goes way down. It's got a bunch of it down to 4. To regulate the procedure of the officers and membership and all other band committees of officers. We're talking about the council, people. The council is the supreme governing body of tribe, or whoever, if anybody like it, well, that's the way it is. And I don't, you can be best assured if I think they're doing something wrong, I will be ready to tell them about it. Anyway, I thank you for giving time to get up and complain, if you want to call it complain. But I want to see this tribe do what they're supposed to do. We don't run them up. If I got a little bit more time, I want to think about a few things. I'll go back a long way on this council, but that's neither here nor there. These people right here, every one of them, whether they just got here today or whatever, they got the same authority I do. But anyway, when this thing started off, but when the previous chief come in on board at the same time I did. Anyway, well, first he got up and said, the council is the supreme governing body of this tribe. Well, that went on for 2 or 3 months. And all of a sudden they decided, well, we'll tell them after the fact. Whatever we do, we'll tell them after the fact. And the next thing that'll come along was, just to hell with them, we won't tell them nothing. And that's the way it was, people, but it ain't gonna happen again, take my word for it. That's the way it went on for 14 years.
Okay, the next one is John, I hope I'm saying it right, Uzo. And his topic is general information.
Good afternoon. My name is Dr. John Uzo. This is not a political request, but I'm running for City Council District 3. And what I did, I'm learning a lot about the processes you use here, and I wish they would do that, or Tahlequah City Council. Hardly anybody says anything during the 4 minutes. And basically the people are unaware. I all talk about audits. The city of Tahlequah has not had a timely audit since the new administration came in the council. It's still not happening. We have no clue. We have no monthly financials. Okay. If I were a council person, I would be concerned. And the reason for this, I appeared in the paper, that was the first of all, certified public account. Okay. I'm a board certified, internationally certified master financial planner. Okay. I do audits, financial performance, investigative, forensic, and agreed upon global management accountant, certified at one time. And I had the opportunity, I'm not soliciting employment. I know what your issues are. And I have a lot of work to do. My clients are in Tulsa. I get questioned by a lot of people in Tahlequah to help the city out because of my knowledge and background. They get up there and they're voting for, you all agree to a 3/4 to 1% sales tax. 525 people in the city of Tahlequah voting for that for 20 years. You all realize that? You're paying the highest sales tax there is. Okay. And they have $21 million. And you know where they're buying that property? In FEMA flood zone area. They spent over $50 million buying properties from people. They should be using eminent domain. It's useless. You want to pay $25,000 for a piece of property that you can't even walk up to. They're going to bulldoze it down.
Depends on who owns it.
That's right. You probably picked that up too. Yeah. Well, because I'm a Dahlberg expert, full law, and these lawyers are going to tear me apart if I don't know what I'm talking about. I can assure you that. Code 9 levy has a lot of people. When 6 of them ask you a question, you better know how to respond quickly. You don't have to let you hesitate with an ah.
We know about them real well. They
That's
took
right.
several $million from us here. So.
Right. It's not, it is, I'll put it that way. But the whole idea is you are actually articulating your concerns. You actually, you want to know what's going on before you make a decision. And if I were a person, and I do that for my clients, they want to make an informed decision. I get out the concerns and needed. After I left the national accounting firm, Ernst & Young, I went to Enid, set up the MBA program at Phyllis University that no longer exists. I taught at the Marlin Mansion, okay? I did all the economic development that they had there. Taught the MBA program, Advanced Air Force Base. Lived there 20 years. I know these people. I can assure you they will not understand cross-deputization. It'll blow their mind because they don't have that cognitive background in Native American issues. Money is one thing they can understand, but the cultural adjustment is going to be a very difficult transition. You know, and Mr. Thompson is absolutely correct. You can have people deciding there, and the easiest thing to do if it's certain is to say no. It really is. You just walk in there and no. You know, let people figure it out. But you offer, you have to see what their concerns are. My students, the formal judges there, the attorneys for the banks, but I was unaware about what you all were doing to her. I didn't talk all paper. I had absolutely no idea. You know, and now Chief Bunch has enlightened me about that. I've done my research and stuff like that. But the whole idea there is to take issue with what you're doing. You know, the audit's good accounting system. You need something.
Ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
When I made a statement a while ago about you can lie about the numbers don't lie. Is that correct?
Yes.
Good. I was told that by people like you.
My occupation. You know, when you're talking about the historical stuff, I'd share with the lady outside. I had a client in Marshall, Oklahoma. Those of you been around for Angie Debo. She wrote about the abuse of the Native American tribes. She came to Muskogee. She was my tax client. We talked about Native American tribes all the time. My last duty mission in the military was Fort Sill. I went to Fort Sill every Sunday and helped the students there try to get there instead of running off back to the reservation. But to get there and get the education that they needed to be a success in society. I knew nothing about it. I'm from Wilmington, Delaware. The people that I know, and the only reason I get invited to a lot of participation, I went to a competing high school with the Vice President Joe Biden. Okay, my clients are in Rockford, Maryland. My time is up. Okay, all right. Thank you so much. If you all have any individual questions, I'll be available for you.
You.
Be the last one on the sign-in sheet is Brittany from Media. Her topic is to present to the council a media account.
Sorry, I didn't sign earlier, council. I was trying to make people could hear your meeting. I have been working on doing advertising rates. I've been working on doing advertising rates for our newspaper. We don't really have any advertising revenue at this point. I think the only time we ever had any ad revenue was probably around election season. Just, when people wanted to put their announcements in the paper. I have actually been contacted by a few organizations now who are interested in advertising in the paper, but I didn't have any ad rates until about last week. I've also had departments that have kind of been interested. They have grants. They can bill out blocks essentially, to pay for their own advertising. So my hope today is just to get approval, maybe to go to Bank of Cherokee County, just get an account set up. I can start putting in ad revenue. My hope is that ads can start building and eventually the paper can at least kind of work in on chunking away at kind of paying for itself. That's kind of my goal for this year. So advertising is really high on my list right now. So I'm just kind of seeking that approval, making sure it's okay to go to the bank for something like that.
But in order for you to get the advertising going, you gotta have a certain amount of papers going out, correct? I mean,
Advertising rates are just based on, it's kind of a formula. I talked with a lady before that I knew who does advertising in newspapers. It was kind of a formula. So we talked kind of how to figure it out. You look at advertising as far as subscriber rates, readership. I'm also factoring in numbers from people who read our PDFs online. So Facebook actually gives me numbers. Anytime somebody clicks, goes to the actual PDF, decides to look online.
Okay, gotcha.
So I factored those numbers in as well. We kind of went back and forth on the formula a little bit. So I have set some ad rates. I have not set ad rates yet for departments. I'm hoping to kind of give them more of a discount just because it's the tribe. I want to be able to do that. So I do have some set for outside advertisers. That's just, anybody that you might see advertising with like the Daily Press or any other type of publication, when they contact and want an ad, it would essentially be the same thing for us. And then whenever you start getting into, if Health and Human Services or if housing wants to do any ads, they could contact me and hopefully we can work something out to do a little bit of a cheaper rate.
You're basically asking for permission to open up a bank account.
Yes, I
You
want to
need to
make
get with
sure.
the treasurer and all that taken care of. I don't have a problem with that. She needs to have it.
I just want to make sure I did it in an open because, we'll be dealing with money and revenue.
We understand that, but you'll need the treasurer to go with you, set that account up.
Okay,
And probably
perfect.
the chief or second, one of the administration, somebody there to help do that. Need a resolution. The bank may need a resolution from this council So if we, and I think they probably will, won't they, need a resolution that they'll open up a new account? So I make a motion right now to let the media department set up a bank account at Bank of Cherokee County.
Thank you, council. I appreciate it.
Okay, we have a motion by Jamie and a second by LMA at the request to approve to open an account for the media department. And I will call for vote. Eddie?
Yeah.
Okay, Jean?
Yes.
LMA?
Yes.
Adeline? Frankie?
Yes.
Sharon?
Yes.
I vote yes. Peggy?
Yes.
Jamie?
Yes.
Charles? Barry? Jeff?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries, council. And that was, and Brittany was the last one on the sign-in sheet for public forum. Oh.
We've gotten a lot of information, or not information, but the information is different now. The newspapers, and I'm hearing good things about it. I even got a call from Alaska, hey, your paper has changed, it's wonderful.
Okay.
I just want to talk really quick. I don't know, but as a part of the ICDBG grant, there's supposed to be public comment. So up at the front desk here, we have like a site plan for the Katua Community Center. So if people in the audience, if they want to go look at it and make a comment or whatever they want, it's up there and available. So I just wanted to say that. Yeah, there's a sign in and we'll submit that with the grant.
That grant is pretty vital for that grant too, correct? So please, folks, take a look at it and sign up for that. Okay. All right, moving right along, we have item number 8, new business. This time I'd like to call Mr. Doug Dry up and let him introduce himself to the council. This is a nomination or for the proposed UKB district judge replacing District Judge Dwayne Littlejohn.
Hello, my name's Douglas Dry. I'm a member of the Choctaw Nation. I'm married to Luella Ketcher Dry, who's a member of the Cherokee Nation. Some of you may know her brother, Pudge. Her dad was the Reverend Key Ketcher, late Reverend Key Ketcher from Stillwell. I'm from southeastern Oklahoma, kind of a refugee among the Cherokees and the Katuas up here. I don't know if Chief Bunch had a chance to share my resume.
First time I ever heard from you today.
Background, I practiced in law for 30 years. I spent 6.5 years in the Marine Corps, started off as a private, retired as a lieutenant colonel. I spent 20 years in the Marine Corps Reserves, along with 6.5 years active duty. Was an artillery officer and commanded a tow unit out of Broken Arrow, Oklahoma a couple of times. Coached and taught football at Wagner before I went to law school. I went to law school to be an Indian attorney. I started off doing not exclusively, but yeah, actually I worked for Oklahoma Indian Legal Service. My director was Susan Work, you may have heard of her. She's been attorney generals for about half a dozen tribes. After I did that, I was assistant DA at Latimer County for 3.5 years. I went in private practice for 17 years down in Wilburton, Oklahoma, where during that time, I was hired by the BIA to be prosecutor for the Seminole Nation in their CFR court. Then I was hired by the Creek Nation to do the first jury trials in 1994 tribal court as an assistant attorney general by Leah Arjo Ware. I think she's your Supreme Court justice now under Chief Fight reign at that time. I was later hired by Attorney General Susan Work to come back again and do another set of jury trials for a couple of years for the Creek Nation in their tribal court, which I thought was run pretty well. Seminole Nation hired me. It was just a couple of council members, 2 or 3 council members, and a chief that had some battles going on there to be an attorney that they were needing. They didn't feel like they was getting enough input from the current attorney general they had, and they wanted to hire somebody that could help them get through some things. And then I ended up getting hired as the attorney general for the Seminole Nation. The chief that was in there and the council members that hired me beginning to not get along very well. And I wanted to leave in good standing. That's the only reason I had kind of a short stint with them, but I left in really good standing with them, the Seminole Nation, and enjoyed working for them. I've been a municipal judge for the city of Hartselle and Haleyville for a little over 5 years. My family wanted to move back up to this part of the country. My wife wanted to get back in near her family up here in Tahlequah, so we moved back. My daughter attended at that time Sequoia Indian School, played basketball there. My older daughter attended Northeastern University, and my younger daughter went to Woodall. At this time, I've raised my family, those 3 girls in this part of the country, and we've really enjoyed it. Kept my law practice for a while down at Latimer, was driving back and forth until my wife told me that's enough being gone. Encouraged me to apply for the assistant DA's office. The new elected DA was Brian Keister. He hired me and made me the managing supervising attorney for Cherokee Nation, which I did from the beginning of 2011 until I retired in 2015. I got a call back from the DA's office. They needed another manager to take the place at Wagner, and they took me back for a couple of years where I've been as assistant supervising manager for Wagner County as a DA. I'm fixing to retire at the end of February again from the state, and I'll probably set up a private practice here in Tahlequah. I'm reaching the age of 66, so I'll probably start drawing Social Security. I get my military retirement, and I'll do a little bit of law on the side and look forward to working with any Indian communities that I might be able to do that. So that's kind of my background.
How much work have you done regarding Indian child welfare?
Well, quite a bit actually with I've actually been hired a couple of times on some cases, but working as a prosecutor, you have to do quite a bit. And with the tribe, when I worked for the Seminoles, I got involved in some of those cases, but we normally had an attorney that worked under my supervision. And at Oklahoma Indian Legal Service, some of the major cases that we see that of the Indian Child Welfare Act under Susan Work, we worked on those on appeal court stuff. I will say also, about 6 or 7 years ago, my uncle, Tom Dry, who was a retired preacher from Kansas City and Choctaw, he was recognized as one of them that helped assist in the legislation, just as a lay person with legislators in the Indian Child Welfare Act, as well as my sister-in-law, which is Linda Ketcher Goodrich, and she worked in Justice Department at the time, I think. Yes. So anyway, that's my familiarity. I know there's some challenges to it out of Texas and such, but everywhere I've been, we've been pretty adherent to making sure we comply with it. Working with the Cherokee Nation, working with the Nation, mostly with the jurisdictions that I've seen down here, Choctaw Nation and Latimer County.
You mentioned that you have a relationship with Brian Keister. And I also have a relationship with Brian Keister. You know, he's the Eastern District, now federal. Your relationship with him, how would you rate that?
Super. Played golf with him.
Good.
I will say this. I was probably 25 years ahead of the Me Too movement, represented some ladies against my chief down in Choctaw country. Led to years of litigation. It also led to that chief being indicted and sent to prison for assaulting the ladies that I represented. A lot of things happened back then. I guess that's why I didn't do a lot of Indian law when I was down there. I've always been hired by other tribes. Probably more of a nuisance with my tribe, I guess, as a result of that representation of those ladies. Having said that, Mr. Keister and I enjoyed a great relationship. The new assistant, his first assistant, Jack Thorpe, who just got installed. I mean, that's why they called me back to come to Wagner. And so if I had a letter reference, sent this in an email to Joe, I said to Chief Bunch, if I put down my people that I would ask, put down for recommendations or I would put down U.S. Attorney Brian Keister, District 27 District Attorney currently, Jack Thorpe, Susan Work, who was, again, she's has worked extensively on the Murphy case that's between up in Supreme Court right now, probably hired by the Cherokees to work on that. Leah Harjo, I believe, is she on the Supreme Court? I worked with her at Oklahoma Indian Legal Service, been lifelong friends with her and her husband, Henry Ware.
Do you have inside information as to how that case is going?
I do not. I don't know. I'm my boss has wanted me to try to set up a veterans court and a couple other programs for his office throughout the county. And I contacted the Cherokees to say, hey, maybe I'd be interested in working with us on a veterans court. So I was kind of surprised. They said that they didn't really have a budget for incarceration. I'm not big on putting everybody in jail, but it kind of shocked me because I thought, gosh, the Creeks, we were putting people in jail that had to go back when you can put them for jail up to a year with a budget for it. So it kind of surprised me where they're at. But I'm pretty familiar with all the tribes. So I'm half Choctaw. I don't look half, but both my parents were raised 20 years between them in the boarding schools. I attended Haskell. I was a little bit ahead of Joe, but I mean, I will tell you that Chief Bird, one of the tougher guys I've seen on the football field for size pound for pound. So, and I will tell you, although I consider him to be a friend, we really have not been social friends and stuff. We see each other in public and drink a cup of coffee now and then, but I'm proud of him that he got elected and I Haskell graduate like myself. But anyway, I don't come in here for any particular agendas or anything. He asked me if I was interested in applying when I saw Dwayne. I guess he's also retired Lieutenant Colonel, retiring. Yeah, I'd love to get back in Indian law.
What's your handicap?
It's horrible. I don't keep, it's so bad I don't even keep score.
Have you had a chance to review our land and trust case, and how do you feel on that?
I have not reviewed. I'm familiar with your trust. I will tell you, I failed to neglect or didn't mention. I also represented the tribe for 5 years, and I hear some of the things you guys are saying and trying to do. We tried to set up bingo back then down in Texas, dealt with the city mayor down there, dealt with the San Benito. Originally was going to be Harlingen, Texas. They were very conservative, probably like your Enid council, and they were not receptive. But the city of San Benito right next door was very receptive. The county commissioners was receptive. Everybody was receptive until we got up to the governor's office. And then we dealt with the some city members and county commissioners from the state of Georgia trying to set up some land there. So the Cal-Edgy was, as you know, was trying to find land I'll tell you one quick story that we had during the negotiations. I'll try to do it. You know, Chief Beaver was in it at the time, and I really think a lot of Chief Beaver. Obviously, there's kind of an adversarial situation with the Cal-Edu. So when we went to meet, we had this elder, Boa Wesley, World War II hero, really. He was the tribal leader at the time, or the town king, they call him. The tribal manager, Trig Jurgensen, was a very educated young man. He also a member of the Choctaw Nation, kind of outlawed by his own people down there. But at the meeting, Trig was very well educated and studied. A lot had to do with the hand of land that should have gone to that they didn't get. And trying to find someone in trust so they could maybe set up a casino or something. And of course, we couldn't get permission from Chief Beaver at the time. But the guy wanted mediation, so that we were in mediation. And the first thing, Chief Beaver looked at Trig and said, "Are you Choctaw?" Because he was the one educated. And he said, "No, are you Creek?" And he said, "No, I'm Choctaw." And so the chief then said, "I need to talk to a Creek. You're not Choctaw. You're Choctaw, so we don't need to be discussing it with you," even though he was the higher tribal manager. So Bo Wesley, an elder, said, "That's good, I'll speak. We must speak in Creek." So the BI had to scrounge down and get an interpreter that could speak Creek. And they had to have an interpreter for Chief Beaver because he couldn't speak. So that was kind of that elder's way of getting back. I thought that was an interesting meeting. But I am familiar with some of your woes. I'm not as familiar with how your court system is set up here, your charter and things like that. If I'm confirmed, I will definitely research and find out how you're set up and what we can do and strive to be fair. I know how to be fair and I know how to read the law. And if I ever make a mistake, I guess you got somebody like Leo Harjo to slap me down and set me straight.
You are aware that we are the only OIWA tribe of Cherokees in existence.
I'm not totally aware of that. I knew the three townships down in Muskogee Creeks got under the Oklahoma Indian Welfare Act, got approved before the Creek Nation actually come back into being.
Did we?
And that's why they're kind of.
Well, the reason I say that is because, the OIWA was in 1936.
Right.
And the Kituwa, United Kituwa Band of Cherokees reorganized under that act pursuant to the IRA. These are some issues that I've been pointing out to the Secretary of Interior and the BIA. And my main mission, I'll just be real blunt. My main mission when I stepped into this position was to get Cherokee Nation's foot off our throat. I was born Kituwa. And I'm kind of like you. I look like it, but I am. Inside here is 100% loyal, full blood, socially and politically. And I know what our tribe's been held in bondage over 40 years. So you might want to examine a few things before you dive in here, because I'll tell you something. I'm mad about our law and our people.
Well, I will say this. I have looked at some documentation. My father-in-law was active back in the who was Key Catcher, Reverend Key Catcher, back in the probably the he was Kituwa and actually went to D.C. with some of the Kituwa representatives at the time. So I am familiar with that. Now, my wife and family members are registered with the Cherokee tribe. The deceased brother-in-law, John Goodrich, was a Kituwa. And so I'm pretty familiar. I can't come here and tell you I'm an expert. I would hope to become an expert in your. I have a strong appreciation. I really was kind of shaking my head the things that you were saying earlier. I'm one of them old ones too. Both my grandmothers were full blood. One of them spent most of the time in the house when I was growing up. I was a little kid at Sequoia Indian School. My dad coached there. From there, we went to Shiprock, New Mexico, to boarding schools. I finished up Hartshorn High School, where my dad was superintendent at Jones Academy. He spent 6 years at Jones Academy when when he was a kid. And from there, I went to Haskell. So back in those days, and I've always been active in my tribe, not government, but probably the outsiders trying to, when we first got to the elections in 1971 and the problems we had, as you'll know, all the incumbents got reelected for various reasons. And my tribe had probably 24,000 members. The Cherokees back then probably had 40 some odd thousand. And then I heard you see the numbers. My tribe's probably up to almost 300,000. I was appointed by the chief, even though I'm probably the lead rabble rouser against my tribe. I'm pretty docile now because I'm up here and taking care of my kids. I figured I'd spend enough fortune fighting with them. But the current chief did appoint me on an election reform committee. I was surprised. And he didn't do everything I wanted to do, but the one thing he did make them re-register everybody. They were at 200,000 registered voting members. And I told them it's crazy because at least 50,000 were deceased, maybe 75,000, probably another 30 or 40,000 are transient in bad addresses. And I said, then you send out 219,000 bad ballots, or maybe it might be, and it's just lost. There's no intent. He made them re-register. And I doubt if they're at 50,000 now registered voters, but the tribe's probably getting close to 300,000 now for the reasons you stated earlier.
Okay, I just have a question. Nothing against you, Mr. Dry, but this is the first I've heard of this gentleman. It wasn't anything in there. How do you employ a UK district judge? You put a application out there, people apply, or how do you do that? How does that go about?
The code itself says that the chief makes the nomination that brings it before the council approval. It also says that, and this is where I'm asking to employ him at this point. I'm sorry. How do you employ him at this point is your question, correct?
Yeah, how do you employ a district judge? For as long as I've known, it's been Little John didn't know how.
Right. In the past, and this code says is that the chief can make the nomination and the council approves it. At the same, for a term, yeah.
Don't we have another judge and there's a woman on there and that very man on there? Yeah, they'll term out like 21, there's like 2 on there, but they have. Right, but we do have 2 on the seat right now.
Yes, but they're not district judges. They're just, if we were to go to higher court, they'd be available. Mhm.
We're going to have to get you all the code, the codes for that department. And I think that book that our AG gave you all the other night, I believe that's in there. So that question that you had would be answered.
So it's up to you. You make the nomination, and you only have to bring one nomination, or do you bring more than just one?
Well, I imagine if there was more than one opening, I'd bring more than one nomination, yes.
Okay, so what you bring is the one that you're nominating.
For Bill,
Okay. For
Bill
Johnson,
Johnson, yes.
position. Okay.
Now, having said that code, when you read it, it says actually that I can make the nomination, the initial term. Now, after that, we have to announce it. We have to go through the regular hiring process.
So he's just finishing out a term?
Yes.
Is that what he's doing?
He'll finish out Little John's term, and I think that's in 21.
Oh, okay.
So
then normally they would do
you
A
would
vacancy
announce a
announcement,
vacancy.
so on.
Okay.
And it's not a full-time position, it's as needed, as court, as we bring folks to court and have trial and so on.
So basically, you recommended him to fill the term, to complete the term?
Yes, we can start that, and then later on, in the event he wants to continue, he can apply for it through an open application process.
Then at the end of that term, how do you find, I mean, we don't have a resume in front of us. I mean, I don't.
And I apologize for that. I had it available. Unfortunately, we didn't get it to you. Yes.
Okay.
Can I ask the gentleman, Mr. Dry?
Yes, sir.
I don't mean this disrespectful,
I
okay?
understand.
But today is our first time ever.
I understand.
Okay. Would it bother you if we tabled your resolution today until our next month? That'd give us time to review your application, and I don't mean that disrespectful.
No, I understand. I would.
I certainly like what I hear from you.
I
but-
certainly would appreciate that. I appreciate your attendance and consideration. I think it's probably a good idea. I mean, if you didn't
Hey,
have
I
my resume,
appreciate
if you don't
you.
have my resume, you don't know, you get a chance to talk to Mr. Keister, you get to talk to maybe the DA or Susan Work or Leah Harjo or even any one of the judges that I've been in.
I think you do the same thing if he's in my
Sure.
position. I feel that way. So that being said, I'll make a motion that we table Mr. Dry's resolution until next council meeting.
And I want to say thank you for being patient with us. I know you've had to sit
Yes,
through
sir.
a
We certainly-
really hard day for you, but
I will tell you, I'm probably beyond envious. I'm jealous
oh,
because my tribe meets behind closed doors.
oh,
The council members, they discuss the business with administration. Then the second Saturday, they go to Tuscoma and it takes them 45 minutes to go through the resolutions without discussion. And they've been doing that since 1983. So I'm quite
as long
envious.
as,
I know it's not pretty.
You saying that, you may have just got my vote.
right, yeah. mhm,
It's
yeah.
not pretty, but
Yeah.
democracy.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
for-
thank you.
Okay, we have a motion made and second.
Okay, we have a motion by Jamie, a second by LMA, and it's to approve to table item number 1 under new business until next month's council meeting. Okay, I will call for vote. It is absent. Jeannie,
Yes.
LMA,
Yes.
Adeline,
Go on.
Frankie,
Yes.
Sharon,
Yes.
I vote yes. Peggy,
Yes.
Jamie,
Yes.
Charles, Barry, Jeff.
Yes.
Okay, council, motion carries.
All right, thank you, council. Item number 2 under new business, council.
If you'll let me. Council, if you'll notice, item number 2 reads to approve or disapprove to rescind resolution 18 UKB 08 and vacate gaming commission offices and request application for nominations. That, actually, last month's meeting in December was tabled, was to approve that the council one, assign the EDTO to develop a job description and advertise within the tribal membership for the positions of a 3-member gaming commission. And 2, council to appoint a 3-4 council member nomination board. And 3, EDTO to conduct background checks for nominated individuals. And 4, for the council to appoint a 3-member gaming commission in the first council meeting in 2019. The sponsor of that was LMA. This is kind of like refers to her language, but it's not all the language on there. So at her request, which I told her I would come back to the December agenda. Item number 2 will read what was tabled that I just read of the tabled business, new business in December 1st meeting.
And so
That was tabled, 'cause that's what that is.
that first one was tabled, but it was, wasn't on, it's not on here. The
So,
first one that she read. And
mhm.
it was, to me, it was about protocol. Because I think the council needs to nominate also. So protocol to me wasn't done. We need to ask people if they want to be on the gaming commission. We need to have them to fill out an application, and none of that was done. And they were put, there was 3 of them was put in. So it was, the motion was made just to table it. So that still needs to go. We need to do a protocol. And all of you need to me, even council can do a nomination if you feel like someone was worthy of being in that position. So in order to do that, I brought this one up, which is on number 2. And it says council discussion to vote to approve or disapprove, hopefully approve, to rescind the resolution 18 UKB 08 and vacate gaming commissioner offices and request applications for nominations. So to me, all of you could do that. You know, just a minute ago, Chief said he could do that. Okay, that's fine. Maybe you want the same people on there. It doesn't matter to me. But if you want someone else on there, then let's bring in the nominations and think about it and see what needs to be done. It's just protocol. I don't think one person should bring someone in and then be voted for and okayed instantly like that, because that's what happened at that time.
So you're saying there's already a gaming commission already appointed,
There's already a gaming commission appointed right now.
and so, or where at, like, what are they on working on?
Well, I heard,
What is the status of the commission?
I don't
And
think
what-
they've done anything. I don't think they've done anything because we've been talking to one and he wasn't even asked. He wasn't asked to go on. He said that he didn't want it anyway.
Let me say something about this gaming commission. I was in a meeting yesterday and I can't elaborate on it. As I said, I'm under NDA. The meeting, one of the questions came up and it's concerning casinos, and we're gonna be, we're looking at some very good things. And one of the questions addressed to me, do you guys currently have a gaming commission in place of people who are very familiar with gaming? And, you know, in all honesty, I couldn't answer that question truthfully. And I'll tell you why. It's because I don't know. I don't know if they're well, you know, rehearsed in gaming issues. And so I say that. I said, well, we have a gaming commission that's kind of been in limbo. I know how to bounce the questions around, and you've been an attorney, you know what I'm talking about. So I said, we have one, but since our casino's been shut down and it's kind of went, kind of in functioning right now. But so this company I was with, they're worldwide. They know what they're doing. And, I mean, so we've got to have this stuff ready to go. So this is an important issue. And I believe that applications made or nominations made for people in these positions is something we better look at very seriously, because we're looking at an opportunity right now to tune about $750 million. And I will disclose that much. And when you get up to that kind of money, you better have your ducks in a row and deal with people.
So basically, this is a 3-part question. That's how I'm looking at it.
It could be, or 2 parts, because it was motion before, and I just asked for protocol. Let everyone see who wants to nominate whomever they think it would be.
I
everyone on the
understand that,
council.
but do we pay these people, and how much do we pay them? No? Is it voluntary?
Well, right down with them.
Because if they're going to be professional people, I mean, you can't just get somebody off the street that knows nothing about gaming to fill these applications. And how do you request these applications? You advertise?
Yeah,
So
take
Chief-
applications and see, then we investigate it and see.
Chief,
Okay,
would
and
you
I
like?
think that's a part of our responsibility then.
Yes, yes.
That's why it's important that we read our code book.
Okay, so the
Yeah.
first thing we need to do is approve or disapprove, rescind the resolution.
Right.
And then the second thing is to vacate the gaming commission offices that are already filled. And the third is to request applications for nominations.
Right.
Okay.
To me,
But-
that, and
Before you do
along
that,
that, what would go with that also would be background checks, see if they want to do it,
Yes.
those sort of things.
I think there should be some type of a hiring policy.
That's what they're trying to get to.
Okay.
yeah,
So who is on the gaming commission? Could you, who did you nominate?
I
Should I say?
nominated.
And what are their backgrounds?
What are their backgrounds? Okay. Of course, Brian Shade, who is an attorney, a practicing attorney. He's also done an intern for the National Indian Gaming Commission. He's one of them. The second one was Victoria Proctor, who is a practicing attorney, UKB member as well, both of them. And she is working with Duval out of Edmond, Oklahoma, and their company provides services to gaming tribes as well. The third person is Danny McCarver, who has a background in the gaming commission, that worked in the gaming commission. My background and experience was I ran the gaming commission here for 7 years. And I ran for office, and then after that, I wasn't here anymore. But anyway, 3 individuals that are tribal members, 3 individuals that's very knowledgeable about what we're doing as far as the gaming commission. To let you know, you ask whether they're paid. Generally, the commission is given a stipend for meeting. They make decisions on different things. If there's questions regarding background information on employees, vendors, the investigation itself, the actual work of it is done by auditors down below them. There is an executive director who oversees the operation and brings the information to the commission. Commission then in turn make those decisions. This is all autonomous away from the tribe.
But
In
still,
order
the
for this
point
to-
is,
in order for this to happen and happen right, and you can see the various models that are associated with this, and they will tell you just what I told you. Now, yeah, you're right. There is a background check that goes into these folks. There is knowledge, skills, and abilities that goes into these folks, years of experience, and all 3 of those. I did a background check, just brief, OCDR, Oklahoma Criminal Records check. None of them came up. So to answer your question, part of it there. The other folks, the executive director, yeah, they probably have to have a salary. The licensing agent did have to have a salary. The auditor who does work on the financials and things of that nature, the minimum internal controls and things of that nature, yeah, they'd have to have a salary as well. So I hope I've answered your question.
Chief, I believe understood you to say that the commission would be autonomous from the tribe. Now, that being said, does that mean since the gaming industry or the casino, let's just, suppose that we've got one, that would come under the corporate board, the corporate charter business as overseeing that. Is that correct? Would the corporate board then be overseeing the gaming commissioners?
They wouldn't be overseeing each other. They would be working hand in hand. The gaming board originally was a separate board that oversees the operations of gaming. They sit and they did the hiring and firing. The gaming commission sits out on the ring side and regulates what's going on there.
you have a hand over here.
You're correct about that. The gaming commission works under the tribe as a regulatory body, but they're autonomous. So, they work on their own, and when they to find something, they follow what the rules are for the National Indian Gaming Commission. But for these 3 that want to hire, you would put it out through our media. If anyone's interested in applying for that, they should have the education and the experience in gaming. Because we're already behind the power curve, we should have already been doing our gaming ordinance, updated one, because we're getting ready to, look at that sports betting. So once you get somebody who's interested in doing that, then you would conduct a full-blown investigation, because anybody who works for the casino or gaming commission needs to be background checked by the FBI.
Ask you, who does this gaming commission answer to?
It would be to the council.
So I make a motion to approve number 2. Do I get a second?
Yeah, I'll second it.
One of the things that I'm saying is we've got to get a group on hand. They're working on the gaming ordinance, the state compact, the licenses for the vendors as well as for the employees. But that, whatever the council decides, I'm saying, why do we reinvent a wheel, so to speak?
So you're saying, number 2 is to vacate the gaming commission. If any one of these people want to apply, they can go ahead and apply. If all 3 of them going to come back and apply, then they can do that.
And that's
nothing
true.
personal against
The
the people.
same ones may go ahead and apply and.
But they're in place as we speak. They're in place now.
I know, but I think that's the whole purpose.
How
The
were
whole
they
reason
placed?
We're talking about this.
How were they placed? How were these people placed? No, how were they placed? You said that they were in place. Oh, okay.
He nominated them.
Yeah.
And they were voted on.
How did they come to be?
But we should advertise, maybe we should, or you may know someone. And if the same ones get
And-
elected, that's fine. And we'll put the same ones in. Let's do it.
If it was nominated and voted on, then, I mean, isn't that right? Though, I mean, I'm just saying that
Well,
One of the
I'm just looking
individuals.
I'm just looking at it
Yep,
both
you're-
ways.
You're right.
I'm just looking at
I
it both
appreciate
ways.
that, but here's
It's-
what happened.
Yeah.
One of the individuals that was nominated that day wasn't aware of being nominated.
And that's what.
they came
yeah,
forth and
that's
said,
what-
I
so-
didn't even know I was going to be nominated. I don't want the job because where I'm currently employed is conflict.
Yeah. So that goes into, like, Chief is saying that they're already in place and already working. So that's what I'm asking is what is the status of the gaming commission? If they're, so are they already working on getting approvals and this and that?
To my knowledge, they are. As far as meeting and so on, we can meet through our computers, we can meet over the phone. We don't have to physically be at the central location. So,
Is that how business is done? Is all business done that way?
well, no, when folks are centrally located in the immediate area, I'm sure they'd meet face to face, but some of these aren't, okay?
So who voted on it in the past? If we're in order for it to pass, who here voted on it? Did you vote on it, Adeline? I mean, it passed somehow, so that's what I'm just asking is, it passed through council. He nominated them in the past and it passed through council. So who here voted on it, and, why is it all of a sudden like going, and it's like, why are we going backwards is, I guess, is what I'm
That is totally
saying.
beside the point. I'm saying that we need to vote on it. LMA has stated what she wanted to have done, and I think we should need to vote on it. Move on. We kill a dead horse 20 times before we vote on something.
Okay, council. We have a motion by LA, a second by Jamie for item number 2 under new business. And I will call for vote. Eddie is absent. Jeannie,
Yes.
LMA,
Yes.
Adeline,
Well,
Frankie,
Yes.
Sharon,
Yes.
I'll vote yes. Peggy,
Yes.
Jamie.
Yes.
Who's gone? Oh.
he said yes.
Charles, Barry,
Yes.
Jeff.
Yes.
He said yes because he seconded it.
Okay, where is the assistant chief? He take a break? Is he in this? Okay. Okay. Yeah, there he is. Oh, when I called Jamie? Oh, okay. Okay.
He seconded it while ago.
Very, yeah. Yeah. Assistant
I
chief.
vote yes.
Yeah. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10. There, yes, 1 no, motion carries.
Okay, now that being settled, who did to make sure that, people start knowing that this is something that they can apply for? If we need to get somebody in place and get it done, goes to media? Okay.
Or you could bring someone up if you know someone.
I'm not really into gaming, so I don't really know. I couldn't tell you, who was I would say Barry Dodson. I don't know, because I don't really know the gaming, world.
Bet you didn't know Barry's probably one of the biggest gamblers in Sequoia County.
Well qualified, I've shot dice in the watermelon run.
I was just making sure that we had some kind of a follow-up on this.
Yeah. How soon are we going to get that going? Yeah.
We need to do it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll
Yeah.
get Brittany back there to advertise it and so. Yeah.
You say that, but make sure that the council does the work behind getting the job description and making sure you guys know what you want before. I mean, I just want to clarify that, and she's pretty busy, so you guys need to get together, figure out, delegate, whatever, and say, okay, we're going to have to Brittany by the end of the week or whatever, but she's not the one to be coming up with what this person's qualifications need to be, et cetera.
Yeah. It's a great point. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, we'll get the the employee, the job requisitions that after we get approval here, and then we'll go there, okay? We'll get it to the employment office and go from there.
Dallas called that was on the cable commission before. Henry Dreadful Water. He's not in very good health, but he does know what's wrong with this. So I want to talk to him.
Joy, secretary. I have something else to bring up. I have one more thing, then I'll shut up. I promise you. I have these written statements from directors about wanting Sean Nordwell back in for EDTO. And y'all can read these, or I'll even read it to you. So Sean has been instrumental in bringing in more programs and activities to all departments. He was able to reinstate medical insurance for employees. He also gave guidance to bring in more grants to our tribe. That's one. Then says Sean encourages directors and staff to attend trainings to move departments and programs forward. Sean is approachable and willing to assist directors with problem-solving solutions. Sean makes himself available to directors at all times. It then says Sean's guidance is needed for the tribe's stability. As he was let go, there has been no leadership or direction for the directors. And then here's a long one here. Here's another long one. As a management profession, Sean Nordwell has been able to connect the dots across knowledge, relationships, and the tribal system to improve daily functions and operations. Leadership is about empowering others with the tools necessary to do the job. The results of Mr. Nordwell's leadership can be seen in tribal program funding increase of $1.3 million, medical insurance for employees, positive organizational morale, media and public relations platform, and an employment rate increase. Sean Nordwell possesses the skill set necessary to move the tribe forward. Another one says, in the time that Mr. Nordwell has been on staff as EDTO, I feel many of the departments have felt bereaved and unsure of which direction the tribe is headed as a whole. While the departments are still functioning, I can say personally that some of the optimism and morale has been diminished. With Mr. Nordwell at the helm, he's often provided advice and suggestions that pushed our programs forward and encouraged our employees to think bigger. Anytime I am unsure of an issue or have a problem in my own department, he was always willing to lend an ear to help find a solution. Quite simply, he believes in progress for the Katuah people. By doing whatever he can for our departments, this is also something I believe in, and if he is not reinstated, tribe is the lesser for it. So I make a motion that we hire him 32.5, since he's already got a housing. He's on house right now, so that would make him a full-time employee.
Didn't we just now finish up a resolution over on call of doing things right for hiring people, and that we have to advertise? Didn't we just do that? And now you want to go and bring up
Actually,
and hire somebody through the council? So are we going to advertise this position and then let him apply, do this the correct way? That we just got to doing that. So can we just open up this position and do it the correct way too? Just like we did gaming commission?
well, we
Situation.
tried that once and it really became chaotic.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted him. Everybody wanted the other ones. And I won't say who they are, but we tried that. And there's already a resolution that says 65,000 or 60,000, I don't remember, in the pot. But I'm saying let's just hire him for part-time, because we may need that money somewhere else. And when they say that he had a felony, he'll pass that test, that background check.
That's good, because like I
He'll
said,
pass it.
I'm hearing all good things and know that there's positive things going, but I'm just saying that we just voted on a resolution to hire or pick the gaming commission the proper way, following proper protocol. So if we're going to offer a job, shouldn't we follow the protocol for that one too?
But I think he's already
Shouldn't we
proven
do that?
himself.
Shouldn't we do
He
that?
has been in a
Right? Shouldn't we
job.
advertise
I-
that out to the public?
I understand where you're coming from with that. But the thing is you also have to look at the pretenses in which he was let go. It was a personal vendetta. It had nothing to do with his skills, his abilities. It had to do with somebody disliking him and a few group that followed.
Well, in regards
it-
to the job application, he's already proven himself. He's
Yeah,
been here.
I clearly
He's
know, I
proven.
know that clearly that he's proven himself, but I'm just saying that we need to go through the proper protocol.
Yeah, but can we
of,
afford to
hiring.
wait?
Yeah, and so, yeah, he's,
Uh,
yeah.
uh,
So he's never been hired on as a full-time employee. He's just always been contract. So that's what I'm saying is let's do this the right way. So, we
I
don't.
agree with you, but the circumstances are different in this situation.
Exactly.
That's all I'm gonna-
What's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And y'all know that.
But the-
And so if
does
it's,
that-
I'm just telling you that
Uh-huh.
if it's right, it's right. Let's do it the right way. That's all
I
I'm
think
saying.
it was
Let's do it the right
done-
way. I'm not saying let's not hire him. I'm just saying let's do it the right way. And you know that. Y'all know that. Let's do it the right way. Let's advertise. Let's let him apply for it, and let's go through the right process.
Let's, you've got a very good point. She made a very valid point. The way he was dismissed here was on a 4-4 vote tie. And that was kind of a split deal. Now, I just heard a young man make a statement earlier today, and I wrote it down because it made a lot of sense. And it pertains to this situation that we're talking about. Decision-making. Is it best for our tribe or for myself? When he was let go, I don't think that decision that was made was in best interest for our tribe. I think it was made for somebody's individual self. That's all I got to say on that matter.
I agree.
And
I second that vote. I mean, that nomination. I second that resolution, whatever it is you did.
and that's what I'm saying. I'm fine with that. I'm just saying that, let's do it the right way so we won't have to be coming back to this same thing every month. I mean,
don't
I've
think we
attended
have
meetings
time,
and it's just
Jeff.
constantly just
We do not have
everything.
time.
Because Sean has put up with a lot of negativity, everything. I mean, apparently he wants to do this job. He wants to do this job. He wants to go and move the tribe forward, and he's doing a good job of it and everything. But I just think that we should do it the right way.
But you're
Let's
prolonging
let's
what
do
should have
something
been.
right for once.
Well, I
That's
believe
what
we
I'm saying.
are. I believe
That's
we
what I'm
are.
saying is
Mhm.
let's do it the right way.
We
You
are.
said the gaming
Mhm.
commission, they had to advertise on social media and let people apply for it. So I
Those
mean, it's the
two are
exact same
very
thing. It's just the
different
exact same thing.
circumstances.
No, it's not. It's the
Yes.
exact same
Mhm.
thing.
Jeff,
Exactly. They're both employment issues.
may I?
Same thing, Initially, Sean was brought on when he was brought to this body, shown a resolution, and it was voted on right then and there initially. So,
Sean was brought before this council exactly like Mr. Dry was today, but you had his resume 2 months in your hand, chief, and I told you, here's the resume. We were in need.
Actually,
We're
3
absent.
weeks.
We're absent of a EDTO for 2 months. Now, you just heard some statements written from the directors that run this tribe. Our directors are very important to this tribe. And this gentleman, reading here, certainly is self-explanatory. Now, I would have probably made a decision with Mr. Dry today if I had the information that you had 2 months in your hand. No disrespect, Mr. Dry, that's, you understand, but I would have made a decision if I had a resume and had time to look it over for 2 months. I promise you I would have made a decision.
thank you for that. Yes, we did have the information about 25 days in our hands. Yeah. I did give it for your packet. Unfortunately, you just got the packet, so sorry about that.
I concur with the gentleman over there. There's nothing wrong with having a background check. Nothing. If there's not anything out there, there's not anything out there. It's just that simple, and it ain't no great big deal. He could be born on a temporary basis, and if he comes back with a black eye, oh. How about that? Anybody agree with that?
We already did that.
He's been working here since, July of 2017.
I don't know the gentleman at all, but the thing of it is, like he said, we need to go by the rules.
I agree. He's got a good point.
Let's do it.
I say if we're gonna hire him, let's do it the right way. That's all I'm saying.
You gotta do it like it's supposed to be done, people.
Exactly.
Well, I think from the reading of these letters here, there's no direction right now in the tribe. The directors are wanting somebody to be in that directive position. So, and I think I know it's a government, but it's also like a business. If there's not a person at the helm, it's going to be scattered.
So how long does it take to do a background check?
There's been a background check.
Probably about less than a week.
And that's good. And that's good. That's good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's and that's good. Yeah, 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 yeah. And so, yeah. And that's what I'm saying though, is let's do it the right way. Exactly. So that's what it's.
In executive session, that's the part people don't see when they hear on Facebook or whatever they're gonna say. The AG signed off on it, otherwise I wouldn't have been able to be here. There's no issue with the money, there's no issue with that.
Exactly.
It's all good. So that is not an issue.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is let's do it the correct way so it's never going to be an issue again. That's what I'm saying. So I'm sticking up for you right now and saying, let's get off of this of people talking bad about you. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It's already been done.
There has been
There
a
was
motion
a
to vote, and there's been a
motion on
second.
the floor and a second, so I think we should vote on it.
Well, all I want to say is when they kept, I know there was mention of executive session at the time when Sean was let go by the council. The new council, just let you know, there was a prosecutor's opinion that the council had to wait on too. And that was brought to light. And that was, prior to that, it was an issue of emails back and forth among departments. So when that prosecutor submitted her opinion, it had findings in there. And when it was brought to council, that's how it was voted on. So you can, so I just wanted to let you know, it wasn't personal. It was an opinion that was brought in front of us.
And that prosecutor hadn't seen, the forensics audit had been released before she formed opinion. So she have a different opinion of the whole situation now.
So one of the questions that just came up was initially the minimum qualifications required that you had a minimum of a driver's license. Do you have that now, Sean?
Yeah, I agree with that. Let's.
We still have to hold the Privacy Act. And we still have to hold the privacy.
Yeah, and that's why I was saying let's do this the right way. Let's go through the proper protocol of let's do the application and do it the correct way. That's what I'm saying. Is if you do it the correct way, we're going to know everything, and we just go on about our business.
This gentleman over here that I respect very dearly, he read a while ago, the supreme governing body is this council right here.
George, read the resolution.
Yes, sir. It's an element, correct me if I read it wrong. It's to approve to hire Sean Norwell as the EDO of the Indians in Oklahoma on a part-time basis at a salary of $32,500, correct?
Yes. Made him a full-time because he already worked part-time for housing.
Okay, question. He is working part-time for housing as contract, correct? Is there a time on your contract?
We're talking about hiring, record comes back clean, correct? Or am I? left field. I didn't even know what we're talking about. Can council see that background check? Where the
Yeah, we
background
can do it
check
again,
come
we can do
from?
another one again. Attorney General did it right here. Pull it up.
Well, let's see what it has to say, you know, I said, gee, it's all the problem, nothing.
That's right, he's already signed off on it. I'm trying to say, the AG already signed off on his back.
Yeah. Well, whatever, I could sign off on a lot of things, but I wouldn't.
Well, I said, the Attorney General, I think you jeopardize his life.
I get this guy, this gentleman up here, there's no reason why we can't do that like it's supposed to be done. That's why we're in the jam we're in today, because it wasn't done like it's supposed to be done.
Exactly.
So if this passes, then we do not do hiring process, correct?
That's what,
Hang on,
That's-
George,
that's
you
what-
got a question.
that's what I'm.
I said, by the language I just read means that Jeff's statements earlier, I think, advertisement. So if this here passes, there will be no means to advertise, correct?
I think
There's
we
no need
advertised
for
for
it
this
if this
position.
passes.
When did we advertise for the position? And we had, two,
We did it twice. We had two.
yeah. We've already, it's like, somebody mentioned about the same thing over and over again, you know?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, though. It's still the right way. It's still the right, yeah.
There was done the right
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, fine. Thank you.
Yeah, I know what's right and what's wrong. And
Okay.
to do it the right way would be to advertise it, social media, get everybody apply and go through the proper process, and then boom, he gets the job and everything is good and fine and dandy.
Okay.
Okay, let's
I
vote.
will, I will call for vote. Ed is absent. Jeannie,
Yes.
Ella May,
Yes.
Adeline, Frankie, Sharon,
Yes.
I vote no. Peggy,
Yes.
Jamie,
Yes.
Charles, Barry, yes. Jeff,
Just like I said, just want to do it the right way. And so, yeah. So I'm just gonna say no.
okay, I will read the votes. Under yes, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, 1, 2, 3. Council motion carries.
I'll tell you why. That's one of the reasons we've got our seven up. We need to do these quick deals, you know? All you gotta do is go to the sheriff's office or wherever it is, a lady, crime to pay, and put down a bit, and there it didn't have, just that stuff. Ain't no big deal. And anyway, worry about-
All right, thank you for that. Item number 9, executive session. Whoops.
Excuse me, council, but I have been asked for some time for Jennifer Robinson, Director of Human Services. She has asked to go before you is for office space in the center to house the opioid grant.
You say executive session?
I did. We've got something on the floor.
Yes. Is request.
Turn it on, it's not on. Real quick, I have been for and awarded the substance abuse grant as well as the obese grant and its final status of approval. I would just am requesting office space in the wellness center so that we can start getting that ready to house positions in. That's all I'm asking for at this time.
What's available over there?
In the wellness center, I believe election commission is still in the offices.
Correct. They're still in there, maybe another 30 days or so.
So at that point, for a person for the substance abuse already going, that is ready to need office space for them and not have office space in human services to
Okay.
house anybody.
So soon as the election board, cast, then you that.
Yes, please.
I make a motion that we do it.
Okay, I'll call for vote. There'll be no other business. Okay, Jeannie?
Yes.
Aye. Adeline?
Well,
Frankie?
yes.
Sharon?
Yes.
I vote yes. Peggy? Jamie? Charles? Harry?
Yes.
Okay, so motion carries. Okay.
No, we haven't gone into executive session yet. I have something else that I want to add if I may.
Go ahead. What's going on?
Right. I want to have all of us to look into our election ordinance. A lot of things need to be changed, updated, and things like that. Almost leaning toward the direction of just dissolving our election board and going with an election committee. It would save the tribe a lot of money. A lot of money. So I just want to put that out there.
Something to explore.
Then you bring, a resolution to the next.
All right. Okay, can we move into executive session?
What do we have for executive session?
30 minutes. All I need.
What is the subject?
It's, yes, it is. Personnel.
Because if it's not,
Yeah, it's personnel.
What was it? Personal issue.
One. And the other?
30 minutes, that's it. We get out. 10 minutes each, 10 minutes each. All right, can I get somebody to put us in executive session? Okay, having said that, we'll move on to item number 10, announcements. Any announcements? No announcements. Okay, if there's no announcements, we'll move on to item number 11, benediction. Benediction? Benediction? Okay, here we go, benediction.
Father, I ask, Lord, that you be with us, Father, as we conduct our business, Lord. Help us, Lord, to work as one. Father, I just ask, Lord, we put our trust in you and all say, Father, I ask all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Motion to adjourn? Frankie?
Yep.
I'll second it.
We stayed till midnight, had to go home because it's a whole.
Been a long one.